Well, good morning, everybody. This is Andrew with Nashville Severe Weather. We got a severe thunderstorm warning here for western Williamson County, and this is going to be for a hailer that's been coming through Hickman County for a while now. And we dealt with these hailers yesterday, and looks like we may have another one on our hands here. This is going to be for western Williamson County, west of I-65. This is going to include folks over in Fairview, Leapers Fork, and down toward Boston and Craigfield, Pinewood Road exit of 840, Greenbrier, Garrison Springs. This is going to be for you folks down there for a hailstorm that's been actually some pretty impressive hail down around southwestern Hickman County, produced I think a $50 size hail down there in southern Hickman County a little bit ago. And so we'll see what kind of reports we get out of this one as it comes through our county, but that's what this warning is for. So severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 6:15 this morning. And that's for about another 25 minutes. I really probably shouldn't do math this early in the morning, but we'll see how this thing progresses as it moves to the northeast, and it's probably going to split Fairview and Leapers Fork kind of down the middle, probably Fernvale area of western Williamson County, but could get over into Leapers Fork though, so and maybe even Fairview, but it looks kind of to go toward the middle of those, and we'll kind of show you the last few frames just to give you an idea of the movement. So let's go back a little bit and then go forward, and you can kind of see where it's moving. Straight to the northeast pretty much. So hail's a good possibility there. Different storm up in the Nashville area. This is the Midtown camera looking from Midtown off to the east toward downtown, and different storm up there. But man, that thing's had a lot of lightning in it, and it's been, I mean, it's been very electrically active up there, and you can see right there a great view of that storm as it's coming up from the south and pushing through Davidson County right now. That storm is non-severe. It's not warned. It's got a lot of lightning with it, but the main storm down here that we're looking at as far as the warning goes is down in Williamson County. So let's talk about what to do a little bit with this and what you need to be doing as far as preparing for the storm as it comes in southwestern Williamson County. Basically, you want to kind of be away from the windows. You don't want to, with this hail coming down, especially $50 size as it was down in southern Hickman County, you don't want to be near the windows and that kind of thing. Typically, hail that size wouldn't break a window, but you just don't want to be around anything that gives you, close access to the outside. You don't want, nothing between you and the outside but a small pane of glass when there's ice falling out of the sky the size of $50. So, away from the windows, and you should be good to go with this. So we're not seeing, I'm going to check some velocities here. We're really not seeing just a ton of wind with it. So that's good. It doesn't look like on velocity, it doesn't look like the storms that we had yesterday that went through Metro that had a lot of wind with them. So we don't see that with this one as much. So let's also look at Tbna. Let me get it fired up here for us, and we're going to look and see what it says for velocities. Yeah, not seeing a whole lot of wind with it. All right, so this doesn't appear to be one of those wind-driven hail situations, but nonetheless, just be away from the windows. If you live down in southwestern Williamson County, there around 840, Smarden, the Pinewood Road exit, Garrison Springs, Greenbrier, the Craigfield community there off of Pinewood Road, the Highway 100 exit on 840, and if you live on up in Fairview, Chester Estates, Fernvale, if you live near the South Harpeth Old Highway 96 intersection, I'll wake up here in a minute. Kingfield, Leapers Fork, those areas right there, that's where this thing is heading for. So eventually down the line, if you sort of aim it to the northeast past the warning, you got the Natchez Trace Bridge and Highway 96 that runs to the west out of Franklin there. You got Pasco, Bellevue, Forest Hills, and on up into the west sides of Brentwood. On the west sides of I-65. So the storm's been pretty consistent. It's had a couple of warnings with it. All right. So if you go back in time, you can see it was warned down in all the way down into Perry County and Lewis County and going through Hickman County. And as you move northeast, the warning continues. So it's been a pretty persistent hailer and produced that $50 size hail down there in Hickman County. just a little bit ago. So that's what we're looking at. So let's back out just again. Those of you joining us, a lot of folks joined us here in just in the past little bit. And let's look at the storm up in Metro, because it's loud. It's very loud and has woken a lot of you guys up. And we've been watching that. So this is the view from Midtown looking back toward downtown. There was a lot of lightning with this just a little bit ago. Still seeing a lot of lightning on the camera off screen here. But that storm is non-severe right now up in Nashville. All right. So there's the hailer behind it that we're watching down in Williamson County, but the storm up in Nashville right now might have some small hail with it, but it's not considered severe really until you get up to 1 inch in diameter, and that's about a quarter size, and that's when it becomes severe. So you might hear some pings on the window, pings on the roof, some small hail up in Nashville with this storm coming through the northern half of Davidson County, but it's non-severe right now. So that's good news, but it's very loud for sure. National Weather Service says that wind is not much of a threat with these current storms. So the main threat is going to be hail and also frequent lightning strikes. So that confirms kind of what we're seeing on radar with this. There's just not much of really nothing brightening up on velocities. It's mostly hail and frequent lightning for sure. So it looks like the hail with this storm is kind of back in the southwestern side here in northeastern Hickman County. Could be some hail falling in these purples in southwestern Williamson County. They're around West Lick Creek Road and Shoals Branch Road. Beautiful area out there, but could be some hail falling in those purples there as that moves northeast. It's going to be crossing 840, and it may surprise some of those folks driving on 840 this morning early if some hail crosses the highway there, crosses the interstate. But it could be up in the 1 inch range in diameter. It could be quarter size. And it was a little better than that, a little bigger than that down in southern Hickman County a little bit ago. So hopefully it does not get bigger than that. All right, well, we're drinking coffee together this morning. We don't usually come on this early. Our storms are usually afternoon and evening things around here, and we're just sort of coming on early because we have some elevated storms, as we call them. These are storms that are based a little bit higher, and they typically don't have a tornado threat with them. They typically don't have a straight line wind threat with them. And so these are mostly a hail threat. So the Weather Service is warning this here, seeing their note here for 1 inch and a quarter size hailstones and winds under 50. So winds under 50 would be considered non-severe. So they're not really concerned about the wind threat with this. Let's see some ETAs here. This is based on their warning, and it looks like Brentwood around 647. Now this is, this is what we kind of talked about with Brentwood. Brentwood stretches east to west quite a bit, a lot more than it does north to south. And so mostly the western sides of Brentwood with this, but definitely those that live around 65 as well. So Brentwood could be impacted around 647. Pasco, go a little bit up earlier, 633 Pasco, 637 Bellevue, 643 Westmead. These are estimates, all right? I mean, it could come before, it could come after that. You could get heavy rain before that. But this is where the possibility of the heaviest hail could come. And let's kind of back out, and you can kind of see where, if you extend the time out a little bit, that's, up in the Creve Hall area, about 650. All right, so you're not warned up there, but just kind of giving a heads up that if you need to, if it's safe and it's not lightning where you are, and that first storm's moved through, if you want to go get your car in the garage or something, that probably would be a good idea as these hailers come through. So just giving you an idea out ahead of the warning. Looks like around the Davidson Williamson County line. Looks like it's time for me to wake up. That's good news. 643 around the county line with Williamson and Davidson. So just giving you a heads up there. All right, so for those of you that are joining us here, we've had quite a few in the past couple of minutes. Severe thunderstorm warning for Williamson County. This is for the southwestern side of Williamson County, and this is in effect until 6:15. And this is for a storm that has come out of Hickman County, dropped some $half size hail down in the southern part of Hickman County, and might persistently be producing hail into Williamson County as it moves in. So they have warned this for 1.25 inch size hail, 1.25 inch hail. The difference between 1 inch and 1.25, don't get all caught up in that, but it could be in the $50 range. But wind's not really a threat with this, all right? So, we take a look at velocity, and I don't see any blues. There's no bright colored greens that would indicate anything up in the, these are up in the 30-mile-an-hour range here is what radar's reading. I don't see anything too wild and crazy there at all. So this is definitely more of a hail threat. And let me see if I can pull up. Yeah, there's a little bit of a hail view there. This says radar's pinging, some higher hail values up in the storm. But whether that's falling at the ground, we'll just have to see. So let's go back over to the Weather Service radar here. Yeah, and hail sizes seem to maybe be coming up a little bit. So it's possible that, we saw that they kind of went down. According to what radar was showing, hail sizes may have gone down just a tad there in eastern Hickman County. They might be coming up again. So you folks down in southwestern Williamson County could be dealing with a little bit larger hail, especially right here. All right, I see right here around Shoals Branch Road, Younger Creek Road, and you see kind of where the lightning strikes are, right there where the lightning strikes are in that purple. That could be where the strongest hail, the largest hail is falling, and it hopefully doesn't last too long. But yeah, radar pinging 2.81 inch hail up in the storm. That's what it thinks might be up in the storm, and it's kind of a best guess of hail size within the storm at large. And we hope that it doesn't fall that large. So we're hoping it stays in the $0.25 to $50 size range. And looks like we got a report of Nichols up in, that was 7 north of Ashland City. So that was with the Davidson County storm. So again, non-severe hail up there in Cheatham County a little bit ago. And that may have been what fell. And y'all had some hail over there in Davidson County, same storm. So National Weather Service is saying still a very impressive hail core with the storm in southwestern Williamson. Hail up to quarter size or possibly larger is likely with that. So, if you're able, there's not a whole lot of lightning right now in north of Highway 96 and up, in the south of I-40 area. If you have anything outside that you really don't want to be hit by hail, you got a little time. Just be sure be sure the lightning has moved out of your area before you go outside at all. But if, if you're in between and you feel safe and you want to get anything inside, you want to do that before it gets to you. Any closer and the lightning becomes a threat again. All right. So, let's see. Yeah, so looking here between David and Will, conversation with us, and let's do some more ETAs. Let's try that. So this storm is moving at, let me look at the Weather Service speed here, and we'll do a little ETA on this thing. Moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. So let's do this. Give me just a second here. We're going to take this thing out an hour, doing 40 miles an hour. And I didn't give it enough room. Let's do that again, huh? All right, here we go. Let's go for an hour. Let's go out 40 miles per hour. And let's kind of do it like this, all right? So Pasco, 626, Bellevue, 630, Forest Hills, 636, Hillwood, White Bridge Road there around 640, and Creve Hall around 642. All right, so you got about 30 minutes there. Up in the Vanderbilt area, the 440 loop around 645, Bordeaux around the same, downtown Nashville 647, and possibly over to B&A around 650. And then it moves off into Madison and Hermitage if it continues moving northeast. So that's what we're looking at here. There's some ETAs for you if you live in any of these areas, and this takes it from basically the southwestern corner of Williamson County off to the northeast, and and those are your times of arrival estimated. Always take these as very, very rough estimates. These storms have a habit of speeding up and slowing down, but if it continues on its same track, same speed, that sort of thing, then it should be pretty close. All right, let's go over and just check again on the... Let's just check again on the winds. Just make sure nothing's perking up. Yep, not much going on in the wind there. National Weather Service there has shored up the warning. They have canceled Hickman and Murray out of that. So the only part of the warning remaining is here in Williamson County. You can see that clearly on the radar here, your yellow polygon. That's your severe thunderstorm warning, and that's going to remain in effect. And that's going to stay in effect until 6:15. All right, let's go back over. Let's go back over here. This is our traditional reflectivity view. We're not looking at velocities much today, or at least right now, because this is a hailer. So we're looking at a more traditional view of the radar here. We're not looking at the reds and the greens and velocities and that kind of thing. We're looking more at reflectivity, finding where the strongest hail core could be. And here's some ETAs. This is, again, based on the Weather Service warning box. And they're showing similar ETAs here, around 645 to Lipscomb. Same for Oak Hill up there in Creve Hall. So very similar to what we were talking about just a second ago. And this is it. It's a very concentrated area right there around 840 and just to the southwest of 840. And let me show you some roads here. And we can talk about kind of where this is. This is Shoals Branch Road. And then this road just to the northeast of 840, that's going to be Pewitt Road. And if you go a little bit further than that, that's Old Highway 96. Let's run it that way. And then if you go further than that, you've got areas up here near the Natchez Trace. That's Big East Fork Road up there. So just kind of give you an idea of where that is. That's around the Kingfield community as you move up on toward Highway 96. So, it's not moving real fast. That storm yesterday was flying through Williamson and Davidson counties and was moving at like 80 miles an hour or something like that. And it was really flying. This one here is not. All right. So this one's a little different. This one's moving a little slower and is not, it's really not moving quite as fast. It's moving at about 40 miles per hour. So that, there's some advantages and disadvantages to that. Disadvantages is that it hangs around a little bit longer. That other one got out of here pretty fast. The advantage is it may not have the wind-driven hail component to it. When a storm is moving 80 miles per hour, it's almost definitely going to be causing some wind damage. And that's exactly what we saw yesterday. So let's back out real quick. We got this one severe thunderstorm warning. In fact, this is our only warning in Middle Tennessee. So the only warning in Middle Tennessee is this severe thunderstorm warning of ours, and that's in effect until 6:15 here, about another 5-7 minutes or so. And then we'll see what the Weather Service does, whether they continue the warning on into Davidson County and northern Williamson County. We'll have to see if they do. And so that's possible. They've been extending this warning a few times now as it has moved to the northeast and is now in Williamson County. So we'll have to see if they continue the warning or if they go ahead and drop it and leave a significant weather advisory in effect. We'll see what happens here in the next few minutes. But we'll continue with this and see how it evolves. Let's go over and look at this radar over here. I'm watching cameras too, by the way. There's not much to show right now. I'm watching a camera down in Nolensville. You really just see some lightning in the distance as we look southwest. And there's just really not a lot to show. Weather Service says that the storm in Williamson County has weakened, but they're going to hold with it and may possibly extend it up into Davidson County. But they're going to hold off just for a second and see if it changes. So they're going to wait a few more minutes and see if they need to reissue the warning. So we'll stand by for that and see. So it looks like intensities have come down just a little bit with the storm here in Williamson County. Although if you're right under it and you're getting, 1-inch hail or even a little bit smaller, it could be pretty noisy. All right. So those of you that are with us those of you that are with us anew this morning, welcome. Good morning. Grab a cup of coffee and join us for a few minutes here as we cover a severe thunderstorm warning for southwestern Williamson County. I've got a cup of coffee sitting in front of me. Haven't had much of it yet, but we're just going to watch this storm, a severe thunderstorm warning down in western Williamson County that is for hail. It's a hailer. And we've had a couple of these. We don't often get large hail in Middle Tennessee, but yesterday we certainly did. This doesn't look to be right now anything like that, where we had golf ball size hail in southeastern Davidson and northern Williamson County yesterday. This doesn't look like that right now. This looks more like a quarter size hail at the moment. Did produce a $50 size hailstone, or at least a few of those down in southern Hickman County a little bit ago. Weather Service says it's not as strong now. It's weakened some, but they're going to hold off just for a second and see if they need to reissue that warning or if it's going to continue weakening. All right, so there's your radar picture, and kind of gives you an idea of where this thing is. It's southeast of Fairview High School. It's between Fairview and Garrison Springs down there on 840. And some other areas up there, you got Fernvale out here, old Highway 96 that goes south out of the Natchez Trace Bridge area off of Highway 96. So it's out in Fernvale now, in Kingfield. And then it's trucking slowly toward Highway 96 there on the west side of Franklin, there as you go out toward the Natchez Trace Bridge. From there, if it keeps its intensity, it's going to head up to Grassland. They're up north of Franklin, the Hillsborough Road communities north of Franklin. And you got Old Hillsborough Road runs down, and Leapers Fork down there. So the communities west of 65 and near Hillsborough Road, left or right several miles. So that's kind of where what we're looking at there. Looking at some reports coming in, and probably a good time to talk about reports. So if you see hail, or you have a picture you'd like to share or something like that, just tweet using hashtag TSpotter. Those of you that have been with us on these YouTube lives, you know the drill, and you know about sending in your reports. So do that today if you'd like. We'd love to get your reports. And I'm looking at a report up here, hail a little bit bigger than $50 near Brushy. That's down there in Hickman County, and that's a pretty decent looking hailstone there in Hickman County. So looks like some hail in Prim Springs as well. It's the camera down in Nolensville, looking to the southwest. So we're sort of looking toward this storm this morning, and the picture, believe it or not, is actually brightened up a little bit. I guess we've got dawn not too far away here at 6:13 in the morning. So the sun behind that storm earlier is brightening up just a little, or the sky is rather, and so we'll see things brightening up here in the next little bit. You can kind of see the contour of the land a little better, but let's go back to radar. Not much to show on the cameras right now. And let's zoom out. So we have one severe thunderstorm warning remaining in effect, and that is the one for southwestern Williamson, and that's going to change. Actually, it's changing right now, and that's because a new severe thunderstorm warning coming out now till 6:45, and so they are extending that warning to the northeast. So this will be a severe thunderstorm warning, and this will be for hail. And this will kind of be your standard severe thunderstorm warning for 1-inch hail. So there's your new polygon there, and that takes it up into the Creve Hall area and Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Bellevue, on up into downtown Nashville, and Antioch, Cane Ridge, and Brentwood. So there's your new polygon, new severe thunderstorm warning for this storm. That is could start to see some quarter size hail with this. And that definitely has been possible in this storm, and it has dropped quarter size or a little better down to the southwest. So new severe thunderstorm warning here for Davidson and Williamson counties. This is in effect till 6:45, and there's your yellow polygon there, kind of showing who's in and who's out. Downtown Nashville, you guys are in, but if you're in a building in downtown Nashville, you're in pretty good shape, all right? So this doesn't look at the moment like what we had yesterday, barrel through both counties heading to the north. This doesn't look like that for now. But keep your guard up, all right? Keep your guard up. These things can change. They changed fast yesterday. and they can change fast today. But these a little bit different environment today. So Weather Service kind of explaining what they did here. They extended the severe thunderstorm warning into Davidson County. It's weakened from earlier, but it continues to show a pretty healthy hail core up aloft, and quarters aren't out of the possibility there as it moves northeast. All right, so new severe thunderstorm warning here, and that's still 6:45. Let's back out a little bit. They're talking about a storm back to the west in Humphreys County as well. We're going to keep an eye on that, and it looks like they may have to issue a warning on a storm back to our west too. So looks like we won't be the only show in town here, and looks like pretty decent hailer back here in Humphreys County, and so they're going to probably be maybe even some wind with it, so they may be warning that here in just a little bit with a severe thunderstorm warning. But for now, we're the only show in town. We've got we're the only warning here in both counties. And this is in effect till 6:45, so about another 30 minutes. All right, so hail sizes here, radar pinging about 1 inch, maybe just a little bit better, 1 to 1.25 in the storm. They're west of Franklin. So let's talk about some roads out there. Getting hit right now is Big East Fork Road, Waddell Hollow Road, on up to Highway 96. And on up Old Hillsborough Road as you go up toward Hillsborough Road. So the Leapers Fork area, northeast of Leapers Fork, between Leapers Fork and up toward Grassland. That's who's getting stormed on right now. Of course, if you're underneath it, you know that. And then back to the west, looks like the hail core, if there's a hail core with it, it's going to be out here around Fernvale and Old Highway 96, Kingfield, areas like that in the southwestern part of the storm. That looks like if there's hail in it, that's where it's going to be. And it looks like now, a new severe thunderstorm warning, actually this looks like it may clip us on the west side till 7 a.m. Here in Williamson County. So a new warning coming out now for the storm in Humphreys County, and it looks like it's going to include part of Williamson as well. So let's go over and look at this radar. It's already drawn the polygon, and sure enough, so here's a pretty decent storm back here. This is south of Waverly. This is a good ways away from us, but it's pretty decent hail core, maybe some wind with it there. South of Waverly, between Waverly and Centerville, and that's going to go northeast, and it does include part of Williamson County. All right, so new severe thunderstorm warning here till 7 o'clock in the morning, and that includes the northwestern sides of Fairview all the way back to I-40, that small sliver of interstate there in Williamson County on I-40 at the Highway 96 exit. So it includes there. All right, so that warning clips us on the northwest side of Williamson. That's in effect until 7 a.m. All right, so we'll be here for a little bit on this storm. So we have two warnings now in effect. We have two severe thunderstorm warnings. One of them is for this original storm. This is until 6:45 in the morning. This is for the hailer that came through Hickman County a little bit ago and dropped $half size hail down in like near Brushy and Centerville, or south of Centerville and Hickman County. And that's moved to the northeast, and it is now in Williamson County. So you folks there between Leapers Fork and Grassland, up there along Hillsborough Road, y'all are getting that storm. Now, the heaviest part of the storm seems to be back here, sort of around Waddell Hollow Road and Kingfield and just southeast of Fairview, and that's pushing toward the Natchez Trace Bridge. That would be where the hail core is if I had to guess. The guys are noting me talking about the yesterday's storm. Yeah, that was not yesterday's storm, was it? That was Thursday. Man alive. Time has flown by. So yesterday was a beautiful day. I'm telling you guys, I've got coffee sitting in front of me, guys, and I haven't had like a sip or two yet. So I'll catch up here in just a minute. But yeah, that was Thursday's storm that came through and did all the horrible wind damage up there in Davidson County and further north. All right, so we got two warnings here. We've got this first one here till 6:45, and we're gonna go look at the hail view in just a second. Let's do that actually. Let's go over and look at the hail view and see kind of how it's holding together. And let's see here. Yeah, it's not as impressive as it was, but could have some quarter-size hail around the Natchez Trace Bridge and around Fernvale, and could have some hail up there around Cool Springs too. Well, yeah, right around Cool Springs and to the north, right there along Franklin Road as you go from Franklin Road from like Mac Hatcher up into Brentwood. So right there where all the road construction is on Franklin Road, could be some hail there as well. In fact, that, the core of the storm may kind of be shifting that direction. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull up the Oak Hill camera and have that ready, because it's going to probably come very near to that as it moves northeast. So those of you around Brentwood, you know where all the road construction is on Franklin Road there between Concord Road and Franklin. And could be another hail core there as it moves up to the northeast. So the other hail core, that's the Oak Hill camera looking down to the southwest. And you're going to see a lot of lightning with this. It's pretty charged up. It's got a lot of energy with it as far as it's very electrically active up there. And so you're going to see a lot of lightning with this one too. So if you were woken up earlier by the storm that came through that was had a lot of lightning with it, this one's going to be pretty similar, I think. All right. Well, like we said, 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in effect this morning. Grab a cup of coffee and join us as we talk about it. Those of you up in Nashville, you've got another one coming. You had one come through just a little bit ago. And so here's a look at radar. Still some 1-inch hail, quarter-size hail possible with this as it comes up from the southwest. You can kind of see the track of the storm just by looking at the lightning. So the red dots are the oldest lightning strikes, yellow, a little bit sooner than that, green not so long ago, and the white ones are just within a few seconds or a minute or so ago. And so you can kind of see the track of the storm came right up through Hickman County, right up through southwestern Williamson, and it's moved up toward going to be at the county line there between Davidson and Williamson here before too long. You're getting rain, but not the strongest part of the storm, but still some 1-inch hail possible with that. It might be a little noisy as it comes over if you live up in the subdivisions and neighborhoods north of Franklin, up between Franklin, Grassland, and on up to the Davidson County line there as you get up to Forest Hills, and especially there on Highway 96 west of Franklin. That's where, if there's hail falling, it's probably back here around the Natchez Trace Bridge. Kind of between the Natchez Trace Bridge and before you get to the intersection with Highway 96 and Highway 100 out there. So that's kind of where if there's hail falling, that's probably where it is. And seeing a little bit of indication that it's probably some hail falling there around Holly Tree Gap Road there in South Brentwood as well. So just, this thing's probably just going to have some scattered hailstones with it, and probably, probably quarters it looks like probably the biggest it would do right now. But as we've seen with it pulses up and down. It'll weaken and then it'll strengthen a little bit. So those of you in Davidson County may get a little bit more, a little bit bigger than that. Looking at your T-spotter reports. Let's talk about that again. If you see hail this morning and you would like to report it to us, if you can safely do it, whatever you do, don't go out in a hailstorm and take a picture. But if you can safely tweet us after the storm moves through and let us know what size hail you saw, just use hashtag T-spotter in a tweet and send that over to us. That would be great. We'll be watching our replies as well for any pictures and stuff like that if you reply to a tweet. But the best way to do it is to use that hashtag T-spotter, TSPOTTER, in a tweet, and it shows up in a special place for us where we can keep all that tracked together and we can see what's going on. All right, you're looking at the Oak Hill camera. Pretty electrical out there this morning. Those of you around Oak Hill and to the southwest seeing that lightning. And it still looks like about the same size hail. But let's go back and look at this storm back to the west. I'm going to pull up a different radar here, or a radar for you. And let's go look at the storm back to the west. All right, so this is storm back to the west here, and it looks like this could be, if it gets over into Davidson County, it could be there about 7:20. So we got about an hour maybe on the storm before it reaches Davidson County. But that's one we're going to watch. It looks pretty nasty. It looks more impressive on radar than this one does down here in Williamson County, and the Weather Service is noting that actually as we speak. They just mentioned the main severe threat now is with the Humphreys County storm. So this one back in here, and you can see you can just see a difference in the strength and the organization of the storm just by looking at glancing at the radar. So you get a lot more purples here, a lot more reds and purples here. It's a beefier storm, and this storm over here in Williamson County packs a punch, and it's got a lot of lightning with it, but it might not be quite as organized and holding together as well as this one back here in Humphreys County that's going to be over in Dickson County before too long. So that's where we're turning our attention now. Between our two counties, the only ones of us that are included in a warning for this right now until 7 a.m. is Fairview and up to the northwest. The corner of Williamson County that goes up to I-40 there, between the middle of Fairview, where Highway 100 and Highway 96 come together. From there back to the northwest. So it's that small tip of Davidson or Williamson County that's included in that, near where the I-40 exit is there for Fairview. So, but we'll see. That if it holds together, that's going to have to be warned over in Davidson County as well. It doesn't look any different than it did a little bit ago on radar, so that they may have to extend that over into Davidson as this storm moves all the way through this warning. All right, so hail and lightning are the biggest threats with these, or this one here in Williamson County for right now. And so let's zoom in on this just a little bit. This thing's taking its time. I mean, it's really not in a big hurry to get through. So here's Grassland. Here's Natchez Race Bridge. That's right where the strongest part of the storm is now, it looks like. Whitehall Farms, subdivisions there on the north sides of Franklin. You got the Galleria, the Cool Springs there on I-65 and Mallory Lane, all that. And then you got up here into Brentwood. This is downtown Brentwood here, but Brentwood stretches a long way back to the west over to Hillsborough Road and down to the south a little bit, and then far over to the east. So not all of you in Brentwood are getting the storm. Most of you west of 65 are getting it. And then storm's going to move up into Oak Hill. So it's going to move up. This is Granny White Pike here that runs up north of Brentwood, and then back into Belmead, Oak Hill, up into the Belmont area, and up inside the 440 loop. They're around Creve Hall down the south side of Davidson County, and then up into downtown Nashville. So this storm's going to be, it's going to keep going. There's your latest radar scan, and it moves really the core. The core is actually kind of punched up into the east sides of Brentwood now. So a little different than it was a little bit ago. So it looks like now the strongest part of the storm could be over actually east of 65. All right, so here's Edmondson Elementary around Edmondson Pike. You got downtown Brentwood here. You got like Old Smyrna Road there. And then you got Concord Road that runs off to the east, and Wilson Pike there. So to kind of get your bearings, a lot of subdivisions over here, a lot of rooftops. Hope it's not hailing out there, but the possibility of hail is there. All right, a lot of lightning moving into the Oak Hill area now. Sky's brightening up quite a bit, not necessarily from daylight, but from lightning. But it is getting a little bit brighter there as the sun comes up over the next little while. But a very electrically active storm that's moving in not only from the south here toward Oak Hill, but also from the west back to Humphreys County. Some of you are asking what time the storm would clear Nashville. So that could be a while. I mean, it's going to be a couple of hours before it clears Nashville, and there's stuff behind it too. So it's going to be awfully hard to give you really a time that this thing's going to completely clear Nashville. As we've been talking about, this thing could hang around for a while today and give us a prolonged period of some storms and some heavy rain. All right, so Weather Service has shored up the warning a little bit. They've sliced the southwestern part of the warning away, leaving only the part that really has the highest threat, and here's some ETAs for that. So again, this is based on their warning box. This is, you got Granny White Park, Fountainhead, Brentwood, Annandale, Nippers Corner, Creve Hall, Utica Boulevard, Nolensville Pike, on up toward the zoo, about 6:45 up at the zoo. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of the path of the storm. All right. So let's see. We're going to do another path, and they're saying northeast at 35. So let's take this out about an hour and go off to the northeast. 8:35. All right. So here's some other times of arrival for you. So Radnor Lake around 6:33. That's very close to our Oak Hill camera. So this thing's going to come right over the Oak Hill camera, it looks like. Oak Hill 6:37. Haywood Lane around 6:38. Lipscomb University about 6:38 as well. The zoo around 6:39, 6:40. Again, these are all these are very particular times, but these are estimates. These are estimates. Percy Priest Lake around 6:48. If you know somebody out there fishing early this morning, let them know that this thing's coming. If you know somebody out there fishing on the lake this morning, hopefully they saw the forecast and chose another day. But if you know somebody out there, let them know. So those are some ETAs for you on that storm coming out of Williamson County now, with its sights set on Davidson. Weather Service is also continuing the warning for Humphreys back to the west. This is for really a stronger storm, and this is going to be up here, and you're looking at the Oak Hill camera, and I'm going to try to give you some ETAs here. I'm going to pull up some ETAs on our radar for the other storm that is coming in from Dixon County here in a little bit. All right, you're looking at the Oak Hill camera here. Storm's going to come right over there here in just a matter of minutes, and very bright lightning show there. Let's go over to radar just for a second. I'm going to try to give you some ETAs on this storm that's coming through. We're not ignoring the storm here and around Brentwood, but we're going to hide it for just a second here. Maybe if we hide it, it'll just go away. Is that how it works? So it looks like some ETAs here for the other storm. Could be up around the Davidson County line around 7. So got about another 30 minutes on that before it goes into Davidson County. 7:15 into the western sides of Davidson County. So could be crossing the county line there around 7 o'clock. So it's about another 30 minutes or so. All right, so 2 storms we're working. This one here around Brentwood. And that's moving northeast. It's loud, got a lot of lightning with it. And then we got the storm back here in Dixon County as well. All right, let's zoom out. Let's kind of get an overview of what we're looking at here today. So we saw in the modeling last night the possibility of storms kind of lining up and right around I-40, sort of lining up into a little bit of a train. We're seeing a little bit of that. We're seeing some storms that are kind of forming along I-40 here, and some of them are severe, and hail's the biggest threat with these, but you can kind of see why I'm saying the ETAs are a little interesting, because you got all these storms back to the west on I-42 that still have to come through. So once the main storms, quote unquote, have moved through, we still have some more behind it. So that's why ETAs are a little hard to tell you exactly when it's going to clear Nashville, because we got more coming. I just saw somebody asking our replies, does it look like it's going to miss Nashville? No, it doesn't look like it's going to miss Nashville. So it looks like both of these cells are going to impact Nashville. And I mean, Nashville's all of Davidson County. Okay, so both of these storms are going to impact Davidson County for sure. All right, here's the Oak Hill camera, there's a part of Davidson County. And looks like we're getting some reports of hail in Brentwood now. So peas and dimes occurring near, near Murray Lane and Johnson Chapel. That's down there on the south side of downtown Brentwood, and near Scales Elementary. It's over right on the west side, and also over on near Edmondson Elementary School. All right, so that's that kind of makes sense. So it looks like this is dropping hail as it comes through. So I'm looking at radar over here on the left side. Let me just kind of show you where it is, and we'll go back to the Oak Hill camera and watch that. But it looks like the strongest areas, we've seen hail reports come in from right over here on the west side of Brentwood. We've seen hail reports now come in from Edmondson Elementary, or near Edmondson Elementary, and that's for this core right over here near Antioch. Okay, so the storm was focused more west of 65. Now it's focusing more around Nolensville Road and Old Hickory Boulevard, and it just kind of came through Brentwood and had some hail with it. All right, so let's see if this view kind of shows us. Yeah, so this kind of shows you where the hail core was, and it looks like that is that's definitely happening. Got some small hail falling in both counties there as that moves northeast. Weather Service is noting that both radars that we use for the most part, Weather Service radar and Tbna, they're both showing some hefty winds, around 60 miles an hour, moving across northern Hickman County and Dixon. So we're going to go over to that storm in just a second. But just showing you kind of the hail view here on this storm that's over near Brentwood. All right, so it looks like some 1 inch. Could get some quarters out of it, quarter size hail in both places, over toward Grassland and then over there toward Brentwood, especially the east sides of Brentwood moving up into Antioch. So there's kind of the hail view of this, and still, a hail threat with the storms back to the west as well. All right, let's go back over to reflectivity, and let's actually go look at velocity here. So we weren't really paying attention to velocity because it wasn't really a wind threat with the storm that came out of the southwest. But there does look like there could be a wind threat with the storm coming in from Dixon County. And currently, the only part of our area that's warned for that is a severe thunderstorm warning that includes from Fairview to the northwest. We're talking about just a few miles of road there, just between Fairview and up toward I-40 in northwestern Williamson County. So quarters now being reported in Brentwood. So it looks like they're going to have to extend the warning here for Davidson as this hailer moves northeast now. So let's focus on that because that's what's here and that's what's on us right now. So it looks like a decent hailer now moving through Antioch and down to the south. So you've got like Old Hickory Boulevard that runs through the Cane Ridge area. There's some subdivisions here, Oak Highlands. You've got the Hidden Creek subdivision, Sunset. Is it Sunset Park or but anyway, there's a neighborhood there off Old Hickory Boulevard there around Cane Ridge. And then as you go north, you've got like Pettus Road, and you've got, let's see, that's going to be like Preston Road. And it's actually right over that right now. So Preston Road and then Cane Ridge Road, where all that development's going on out there as you get up to Bell Road and right into the middle of Antioch. So that's where the strongest hail looks to be right now. And it looks like they may have to extend this warning off to the northeast. So hail view running a little bit behind here, but that's just kind of picture that up here a little bit further toward the northeast. And the hail view takes a little longer to come in because the radar has to process that information. It's a lot more info to process, but just kind of move the darker colors here up to the northeast. And that's where the largest hail is falling right now. And we're gonna go over to a different radar that isn't as bright there. There we go. All right, so strongest hail core looks to be in Oak Highlands now, moving on up toward Antioch. And it could be quarters. It looks like it could be quarters, maybe even a little bit larger. Radar starting to uptick again. Again, we said these things are cycling a little bit, and the hail core comes down, and then it gets stronger again. That's exactly what just happened. So the thing's getting beefy again, and as it crossed I-24, probably with quite a bit of hail in it, and then now is moving up toward like Ezel Harding School and those neighborhoods up there. So new severe thunderstorm warning now. It's going to be for Davidson, Rutherford, Sumner, Williamson, and Wilson. That'll hit the polygons here in just a second and show us where that new warning is in effect for. But they're getting out ahead of this just a tad, to, especially for Percy Priest Lake and areas like that. We've got a hailer about to come over there. And so getting some more reports there of Antioch. Looks like Pease and Dimes. And looks like pea-sized hail at Brentwood and Brentwood, Sunset, and Concord. All right, there's your new warning right there. So that covers the eastern side of Davidson County. That's in effect until 7:30. It won't be in Davidson County that long, more than likely, but the warning as it stretches out is in effect until 7:30. And so you want to be away from windows with this. You don't want to be outside for sure. If you know anybody fishing this morning or something on Percy Priest Lake, surely they see this lightning coming. I mean, it's a decent lightning show out there. But let them know. I mean, text them, give them a call, something. Let them get off the lake. They need to get off the lake because it's pretty nasty out there. So here's the Oak Hill camera here. Storm's right over Oak Hill, but the core of it looks to be to the east a little bit, and but heavy weather there in Oak Hill. But as you go east over toward Antioch, crossing I-24, going up toward Percy Priest Lake, All the neighborhoods there around Murfreesboro Road down to I-24 or in the Priest Lake area, that looks like where the strongest hail is right now. We're getting a lot of reports of pea-sized hail near Lenox Village, and looks like some nickels there also near Lenox Village. So we're seeing quite a few reports of that. So I'm looking through some reports here. Yeah, so mostly nickels, some quarters. All right, let's kind of zoom in and see where the hail core is. So here's Antioch here. Here's the Nashboro Golf Club, Percy Priest Lake. Of course, Percy Priest Lake runs a long way, but that's kind of the middle of it up there. So you've got the golf club there. You move north, you've got Elm Hill Marina. This is Bell Road that runs up to the north near Percy Priest Dam and Nashville Shores. And so that's right where this is headed. So new radar image. Let me go over to the radar so you can see it. There's a new radar image there, and it shows the heaviest core of the hail and the rain there along Bell Road. And that's kind of as it runs toward Murfreesboro Road. So you've got a lot of neighborhoods out here. Hard to name individual streets because you've got just a lot of neighborhoods up here. So a lot of you folks probably going to be woken up here about in a few minutes by this hail. So it looks like nickels, looks like quarters, and we're getting quite a lot of reports of dimes and pea-size hail, but definitely could be larger than that in some of these bigger hail cores. All right, let's go back and look at this storm back to the west just a second. We'll come back to this loud one here in southern and eastern Davidson County. But let's go check out this storm back to the west. So Weather Service keeping an eye on this one, especially with velocities, and yeah, we're getting a new velocity scan here, and it looks like the heaviest wind looks to be back in the Hickman County, Dixon County area. You got to see these blues. That's your heaviest wind. And here around southeastern Humphreys County, it looks like some pretty high winds there. It looks like on up into the that could be up into the 60 mile per hour range there in southeastern Humphreys County. All right, new severe thunderstorm warning now coming till 7:30. That's going to be for Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Murray, Sumner, and Williamson. Big old severe thunderstorm warning coming out now, and so we're gonna get a lot of polygons here as we start to fill up with severe thunderstorm warnings here. So a new severe thunderstorm warning now coming for Davidson and Williamson for this storm back to the west. And we'll keep track of all these polygons for you. But really, essentially, what we're watching is two storms. All right. And so, but we might get quite a few yellow boxes here over the next few minutes. So new warning coming out now, and that'll be in effect till 7:30 for the western storm. So we'll see that pop up here in just a second. Starting to brighten up a little bit there in Oak Hill. Storm starting to move to the north. It's starting to lighten up a little bit, but still a lot of lightning out there. All right. So there's your Oak Hill camera. Let's go check out Midtown. Here's Midtown right there. Still got some distant lightning there, and this storm is approaching the Midtown camera mostly off to the southeast. So you're going to see a lot of lightning there in the distance with this one. All right, I'm checking on a few things off to the side here and getting a sip of coffee. All right. All right, so one warning box has dropped off. It expired. That was for the southwestern side of Williamson County here. So it dropped away. That's simplifying things just a little bit. Now, what hasn't happened is we haven't gotten the warning box on our radars yet for the warning that was issued a few moments ago for Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Murray, Sumner, and Williamson. So that has not hit our radars yet. And I can show you where that is on the radar, and not sure why that hasn't shown up on any of our radars. We use different sources and it's not showing up on any of them. Let me show you kind of where that is if I can. I'm just going to kind of illustrate this if I can. Not real good at this, but just bear with me here. So looks like basically something like this. I'm looking at another source trying to draw here. All right, so the new severe thunderstorm warning looks kind of like that. All right, and hopefully it'll get here soon on our radars. But anyway, so that's what we're looking at here as far as the new severe thunderstorm warning, and that's in effect until 7:30 for both counties. All right, so we got two storms here, and forgive my drawing skills here, but that's roughly the box on the new severe thunderstorm warning that was issued a little bit ago, and hopefully that'll show up here soon. So two storms. Let me cancel. Let me stop drawing. Okay. Okay. So ignore that little line. All right. So the first. Oh man, that ain't gonna work. All right. Let me zoom back out and let me get rid of that. Hopefully this will just show up soon. I'll describe to you where the warning is. Sorry about that. All right, we got two storms. We got one here in southeastern Davidson County, and that's moving northeast. That will be, that's going through Priest Lake right now. Probably some hail being dropped there along the south side of, like around the zoo, and on up toward Tbna and up toward Donaldson, Nashville Shores, Hermitage. That's where one heavy core of reflectivity is. Another one down right on Percy Priest Lake in Antioch, Four Corners Marina, all the way up to Nashville Shores. So they're around the Hobson Pike Bridge on I-65, getting quite a bit of, could be getting some hail there as well. Probably some hail falling on the lake this morning. And so that's moving to the northeast. So we got one hailer there that is probably dropping hail there. We got another storm that is moving in from the west, and this is over in Dixon County now, and it's a very electrical storm. So let's go over and look at over here. And again, we use multiple places here for our warnings and not getting it. I'm going to change sources here and see if we can get it on a different source. So let me try something here right quick. See if we can get that warning box to pop up. And still not. That's odd. Okay. Well, I'll tell you where it is. The warning box is here. Mostly covers most of Davidson County, most of Williamson County. So we're not going to get hung up on that right now. All right, we're just going to. The warning is for hail and high winds coming in from this storm in Dixon County and moving to the east. So David says that warning's not showing up on his radar either. So I know it's not me. That's interesting. All right. But we have access to really good resources here. We've got a direct line with the Weather Service here, and we're watching exactly what's being issued. So whether a polygon shows up or not on our display, we know what's in effect and what's going on. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right. So we got two hailers. One of them here is pretty healthy, right around Antioch, and on up toward Percy Priest Lake, and that is moving pretty quickly off to the northeast. And we also have a storm coming in from the west. And it looks like that is coming through Dixon County now, and that could have some high wind with it. This one's been showing some pretty high velocity wind, and you kind of have a front edge of the high winds that come in here around Dixon. It's kind of bowed out a little bit, and that's pushing to the east, so that's going to impact both counties here after a while. And we do have severe thunderstorm warning in effect for most of both counties. That is in effect until 7:30. All right. So that's for that second storm. So, but this storm over here looks really healthy in Antioch. And let's go over and look at a different radar product here, different radar, and it shows kind of where the storm is now. That was a little bit of an old image there a little bit ago. So this now, the heaviest part of the storm's up near Percy Priest Lake. So we're going to stick with this radar and show what's going on around B&A. That's where the heaviest, looks like the heaviest hail is, up toward Percy Priest Lake. And then down toward Belle Meade, some heavy rain. And then back to the west in Dickson County, there's a pretty healthy storm there as well. So that's where that is. All right, thank y'all for joining us, and we have quite a few people that have joined us in the past few minutes, taking a stretch here and a little bit of a coffee break, and we're talking about two storms that are coming in. One is there in the east side of Davidson County, the other one on the far west side of Williamson County that's going to be coming in here in just a little bit. And pretty strong gusty winds with that, it looks like. I'm going to go over and look at Tbna. Let's take a look at, turn on data for Tbna, and it looks like we may not be getting data there with Tbna. So I'll check back with that here in just a little bit. So looks like we're... I'm going to try to check some things here. While you're looking at radar, you're looking at an up-to-date radar picture there. All right, new radar image coming in now, and you see the new sweep coming around. That's going to give us a new image of where exactly this storm is, and there it is. So it is updated there, and it looks like the heaviest core of rain and hail is going to be over there around B&A, going into Donaldson, and they're on Percy Priest Lake. So I'm going to update. We're sitting here talking about warning servers and trying to get the best source here to get the warnings to show up actually on our map. So I'm going to switch over here and type over something. While y'all are watching that, y'all are watching the radar image, I'm going to switch over and switch to a different warning server. So hang on just a second. There we go. All right, there we go. Now we have a new warning box. Good deal. Okay, so now you can clearly see, finally, you can clearly see where the warning is. So we're going to stick with this radar for a while. This is where the severe thunderstorm warning is in effect, and now it shows up. Now it shows up on our other one. All right, let's go back. There we go. All right, so clearly you can now see who's under the new severe thunderstorm warning that was issued a while ago till 7:30, and that's for 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds, and you can kind of see how it's bowed out here, okay? So definitely a wind possibility with this. As it comes in, you can kind of see how it's bowed right there coming into Fairview. And so that's where the greatest wind threat is right along that bow and back in the rain is kind of where it looks like the greatest wind threat is, okay? So you can kind of see where the greens start to brighten up there. And that's right along that bow in Fairview. All right, still a hail threat with that storm off to in the eastern part of Davidson County. Still a hail threat with that as it moves to the northeast. And got a report there of 1-inch hail around Anderson Road, so still a hailer for sure. There's it moves over Percy Priest Lake and over into Wilson County. So our focus will start to shift from eastern Davidson County back to the west in Dixon and Cheatham and moving into Williamson. So that's where our focus will start to shift here in just a second. And that's this one over here. You know, the one in eastern Davidson County didn't really have a wind threat with it. It had a hail threat, and it dropped some hail. But back over there to the west, this one coming in has got a wind threat and a hail threat with it. So wind and hail an issue with that one. That's going to be stretching, pretty much affect almost all of us. So that's what we're going to be watching is this thing could affect a good part of us. All right. So, yeah, still just a straight line wind issue here. And man, a lot of lightning with this. I'm going to switch over here and show you. See, you may not be able to see on your image, but man alive. I mean, all these white dots here, these are all cloud to ground lightning strikes. This thing is really electrically active. I mean, it is really electrically active. So this is definitely a lightning producer. And so it's going to be heavy rain, lightning, and strong winds and some hail. We still have kind of two storms we're watching, but they might kind of start congealing into one. All right, now we're getting indication that we could have some big hail over there on the west side of Nashville. All right, so this storm's kind of perked up around White Bridge Road. It's covered under a severe thunderstorm warning already. But there's indication this cell over here on the west side of I-40 as you go out toward Bellevue, so that would be over near the Charlotte Pike exit and then off back toward town a little bit. Indication that thing could have some larger hail with it as well. So we're just we got a few things we're covering this morning, a few things we're watching. Let's go back over here. Kind of see a little bit better the polygons. Both of these are in effect until 7:30. So we have one here for our eastern storm. That's for basically eastern Davidson County, Percy Priest Lake, and over to the east. That'll be out of here before too long. And that's in effect until 7:30. And then in fact, they're shoring that warning up a little bit. They're trimming it back a tad. But it'll still include Davidson County. And then we have this big one over here that's in effect until 7:30, and that's for the storm coming in from the west. So a lot to watch this morning as we drink coffee together and enjoy the morning and talk about storms. So let's talk about what to prepare for with this. So we were saying earlier with this storm in eastern Davidson County that you did not just kind of being away from the windows, but it was kind of a quarter, maybe $50 size hail situation, mostly peas and nickels and dimes. That's what we saw a little bit ago. And that was exactly right. Now, it really didn't have a wind threat with it. Back over here to the west, this one does have a wind threat with it. This is a little bit of a different animal. And you can kind of see how it bows out here around Fairview. So if you can kind of see here how it kind of bows like that around Fairview. That's where an indication of some pretty gusty winds. All right, so could have some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts in there with that, and that's over there near Fairview. So that's moving to the east. Here's some ETAs for you based on their warning. I tell you what, we're gonna redraw that just because that's been a minute. Since those were put out. So let's go over and look at, let's see, this thing's moving east at 35. All right, well, let's go east at 35 with it for the next hour. And let's just draw it out. All right, we're going to go east at 35 with the strongest part of that storm, or at least what it is right now. All right, so Vanderbilt around 7:15, 7:16. These are ETAs. These are not, don't take these for gospel. These are estimates. So Brentwood around 7:23. That's the middle of Brentwood. Berry Hill around 7:20. Hermitage 7:32. Antioch 7:32. Nolensville 7:34. And then Percy Priest Lake again around 7:37, 7:40. So if you know anybody outside, let them know. Even up on Old Hickory Lake, if you know somebody up fishing on Old Hickory Lake this morning, surely not. But hopefully nobody's out there. But if they are, if you know somebody out there, get them off the water and let them know this is coming. But just we got a severe thunderstorm back to the west that we're watching as well. All right, that these are the ETAs for. Franklin will be at about 7:15. As well. All right, let's get those off of there. And sort of back out a little bit. Let's see what's going on back to the west. So storms now have fired really all along I-40, all the way east to west, all the way from Jackson, they have a flash flood warning down there in Madison County, Jackson, and produced a lot of rain there, and really stretching all the way up I-40, all the way through town here, and then back to the east there, all the way to Cookeville, and all the way down I-40 as you head toward Knoxville. Storms have fired. So this is pretty similar to what models were showing last night that would be happening, and these storms just kind of maybe train over the same area for a while. All All right, let's go back over. Let's look at some cameras. Let's see what we got on cameras. So let's see if Goodlettsville's awake yet this morning. And it looks like it is. Let's pull that up here. Yeah, okay, there's Goodlettsville. So that's looking back to the west from the First Baptist Church there on Main Street in Goodlettsville, looking back to the west of town. And so some heavy rain there. They are included in the severe thunderstorm warning, and that's looking back into a nice cloud-to-ground lightning strike there. I'm telling you, these things have a lot of lightning with them. Lots of lightning today. So this is probably going to be our camera for just a little while, showing the storm coming in. So heaviest, I'm looking at radar off to the side. Really, the most lightning right now is going to be off in Joelton. So really right where this camera's pointed. And that's for the cell that you see directly in front of this camera. A lot of hail, or excuse me, a lot of rain, a lot of lightning, probably some hail in it. Maybe some small hail there in Joelton, but definitely very electrically active. My coffee's gotten cold. Y'all like? I'm not a fan of cold coffee, but mine's gotten a little cold. I have to warm that up after a while. All right, so it looks like we could have. We were talking about this hailer a little bit ago. This is over there in western Davidson County, and it looks like this is kind of a new area that sort of popped up around Metro Center and Bordeaux. Could have some hail in it, up to about 1 inch in diameter there, just west of Germantown, right outside the inside loop of the interstate. So there could be some hail up there around Metro Center, going off toward Haines, Whites Creek Pike, areas like that, up to the north and west of downtown. So that's one area of hail we're looking at. Another area of hail over near Shelby Bottoms, and moving on up, really some of the same areas that had the bad storm a couple of days ago, that brought down the trees and power lines and had all the large hail. Kind of the same area over there. Another little area there of hail in East Nashville over to Shelby Bottoms. Another area over there near Hermitage, right there along Old Hickory Boulevard, that goes from I-40 up through Hermitage and Lakewood up into Old Hickory. So another area of hail there, very near the radar site at the National Weather Service. And then, of course, back there around Percy Priest Lake. So decent hailer there. This is over the west, looking west out of Goodlettsville. We're going to look at this for a while. There's a lot of lightning. Just to give you a feel for the electricity involved in this, you'll see some pretty vivid lightning strikes here on this camera over the next couple of minutes. I'll sort of describe to you what I'm seeing on radar. So let me go look at velocities while we're here and check out what's going on. Let's see here. All right. Y'all are watching Goodlettsville there. I'm kind of checking on velocities, seeing what's going on back to the west of us. And I'll show you this. So you folks over there in Bellevue need to kind of prepare for some strong winds. Bells Bend, from Beeman Park, Bells Bend, Bellevue. In fact, you folks are getting it right now. Could be some gusty winds there, 50 miles per hour plus, maybe even up to 60, depending on how it's aimed at the radar here and we're able to read it. But could be up to 60 miles per hour there. Some strong gusty winds in Bellevue, stretching down toward the north parts of Franklin and Leapers Fork. So pretty much everybody west of I-65 could be getting some pretty gusty winds with this. And still getting hail reports. There's hail report there in Charlotte Park, and pea-size hail near New Hope, Stewart's Ferry. A brief small hail in East Nashville. That looks smaller than dimes. So that's for the hailer here that came through just a few minutes ago. And they're in East Nashville. Nichols and Charlotte Park. About penny size over in Nippers Corner a little bit ago. So, hey, these reports are really useful. I mean, really, really useful today. So here, send those to us using hashtag TSpotter on Twitter. So go to Twitter, and if you can safely get a picture, let us know where you are, what neighborhood you're in, that kind of thing. and we would love to know that information. So hashtag T-Spotter on Twitter will get that to us very efficiently. We love getting those reports. It puts it all in one place for us. We can go through those reports and send ones that are especially pertinent over to the Weather Service, and they like to get that information. All right, so big wind over on the west side of Davidson County. So Bellevue, Horseshoe Bend, down to Temple Hills, Natchez Trace Bridge. This is a windy deal here. This thing's could be a hailer for sure, but the wind is really probably an issue there that we need to watch. All right, so we're going to take a look here. This is west, the Goodlettsville camera looking west, and I'll have the Oak Hill camera ready as well in case we get some strong gusty winds there. It's kind of headed more toward Oak Hill, I think, and we'll have that camera available here in just a second. But strong gusty winds there on the west side of Davidson County coming in. And so those of you in Bellevue really kind of need to pay attention to that. Let me make sure we're looking at the latest radar scan here. Let's see. Yeah, very impressive lightning there in Goodlettsville. Let's go back to radar over here. And we're going to look at this right here, this bow. See how it's kind of bowed out in Bellevue from Oak Haven down to through Bellevue and down to Highway 96 and west of Franklin. That bow right there's got a lot of wind in it. And that is, it's a wall of water and a lot of wind. So it could be 50, 60 mile per hour gusts there are possible. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect till 7:30. So let's talk about those two warnings that we have in effect. Both of these are in effect till 7:30. Quite possible they could get extended a little bit longer, especially this one for this western storm. But the 7:30 a.m. expiration of this warning was for a storm that is largely pushing into Wilson County now, but still some of it hanging around in Davidson County up near Inglewood, up toward Lakewood, Madison, and Hermitage, inside the Highway 45, that's Old Hickory Boulevard, inside that loop there. So part of that storm still hanging around and still dropping some hail. Fairfield Glade, 1.25 inch hail. So some of you folks asking, Nolensville, do we need to take cover? I mean, no. I mean, not in a tornado-safe place. I mean, we're not in that situation right now. This is a straight line wind thing. This is some strong hail. And that's really about it. But damaging straight line winds are a possibility. Sorry, I'm bouncing around on radar here. I'm trying to kind of see if there's anything new here. Bellevue, still really strong winds and could be real gusty there coming in the western sides of Davidson County. Goodlettsville looking west. Storm getting closer there. Lightning getting closer as that storm comes in. It's very electrical. Has a lot of lightning with it. I mean, it's just Goodlettsville, on the west sides of Goodlettsville back to Dry Creek, Union Hill Road. I mean, you folks up there just getting pummeled by lightning, cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. That's from Goodlettsville back to the west. And, I mean, the sky's just lit up. So it's pretty, we don't have the north camera. The north Goodlettsville camera is not active right now. But let me kind of show you here. And this may be too small for your display, but all these white dots are cloud-to-ground lightning strikes up in Goodlettsville. All these white dots, every one of them is a cloud-to-ground lightning strike. And that's pretty easy to believe looking at the camera up there in Goodlettsville. The rain is heavy, but man, the story up there is the lightning. So, I mean, there you go. You're getting multiple examples of that on the camera right now. Moving down to the south, I'm over here on radar, and I'm moving down to the south. You're watching Goodlettsville right now. Moving down to the south, could be a little hail around the 2465 split north of downtown, around the Madison area. They're near the Old Hickory Boulevard and exit is there, Dickerson Road and Bradley Parkway and all that. Could be some small hail there. And then back to the west around where, that's Old Hickory Boulevard and Bradley Parkway on the west side of Davidson County, around Bells Bend. Could be some hail there, but definitely some strong winds a possibility. And I'll go ahead and switch you over to radar so you can see what I'm looking at here. And this is a southwestern extent of an older severe thunderstorm warning. So don't get the idea that these folks aren't warned over here. They're part of a bigger warning box that covers a much larger area. So strong winds here around Forest Hill is a good possibility. And we're going to have the Oak Hill camera ready in case it moves through there. So that storm is right over that hill that ridge there. And that ridge right there along Franklin Road, Radnor Lake is on the other side of that ridge. So those hills you see right there on the other side of Franklin Road, Radnor Lake is right on the other side of that. And then right on the other side of that is where the storm is, so along Hillsborough Road. So that's around the Oak Hill area. Lightning not quite as impressive down this way in the storm as it is up on the north side. But wind could be an issue here in the Oak Hill area around Franklin Road for sure. Still looking at hail reports. And we got maybe half-inch size hail southeast Nashville from the last round. Just still looking at reports coming in. And you're looking at the Oak Hill radar. Let's go back over and check in on Goodlettsville and make sure they're still doing all right. So still a lot of lightning up there. I mean, they're just getting zapped. So looking here at the radar, I'm looking off on a different screen at the radar, and a lot of lightning there right around the camera site even. And the neighborhood's right on the north side of downtown Goodlettsville. So that's going to be like around Hitt Lane and Dickerson Pike, Main Street there. Just a lot of lightning here just in the past couple of minutes. So heavy rain up there for sure. And I'm going to go back down here and check on some velocities while y'all are watching that just a second. Looks like a gust of wind. Here. Let me get you over to that. Yeah, it looks like a gust of wind here, pretty high, coming through Bellevue, Forest Hills, Belle Meade. Alrighty. I'm going to pull up a different, you're looking at Weather Service radar there, the velocities. I'm going to pull up a different radar actually on my phone just because I want to see, I want to kind of get an idea of some, I want to get an idea of some velocities on Tbna radar. Not able to get Tbna radar on my usual place, so I'm going to keep an eye on that on my phone. So I may not be able to show it to you, but I can describe it to you. And what it's depicting here, Tbna radar is a leading edge line of strong winds, and those are in the 60 mile per hour range. All right, so it's pretty gusty there along the front end of that rain. I'm going to give one more shot to see if I can get the data. Here on Tbna in my usual spot. And doesn't look like I can. That's all right. Okay, you're looking at velocities there on radar, and we'll go back over and look at Goodlettsville just a second. I'm going to switch over to a radar here. We can kind of get an overview of the warnings that are in effect right now, and I'll show that to you in just a second. We have two warnings in effect, both in effect till 7:30, another 15 minutes. If I had a hunch, I would say they would probably extend the warnings out a little while longer for us past 7:30. Definitely not going to speak for him, but I would just guess based on the winds that we see, especially along this bow. So as I showed you earlier, there's a bow here that runs from Brentwood all the way up into the north, all the way up to around I-40 and a little bit further north than that. So like this area where the flashing yellow line is, that's kind of the front edge of that bow, and a new radar scan coming in now. And that pushes it off even further toward the east. Okay, so that bow is advancing eastward. That looks like where the strongest wind is, at least on our stuff. All right, so we're seeing on radar. Let me get out of that, zoom in a little bit, and you can kind of see. So Oak Hill, you guys are going to be in right in the path of that strong wind. So I'd definitely be away from windows. Could be some hail with it. And let's go over to Tbna, and you can see some fast-moving clouds there coming in from the west. So that's come over the ridge now. They're around Radnor Lake and could have a wind issue. We're going to stay with this because this is going to be pretty gusty probably there in Oak Hill. So we're gonna watch that and see what it does over the next couple of minutes. But definitely some strong wind possible there coming into Oak Hill. Also all the way up to downtown, the gusty winds continue there, and all the way down 65, down past the WSM Tower there, Franklin Road. It kind of runs past there. So we'll see. There's quite a bit of wind with it on the front end of this rain and storms. So you're looking at the Oak Hill camera, and this is facing southwest, and you notice the clouds are moving fast. I mean, the air is moving pretty quickly up there and blowing those clouds to the east. So we'll see what the wind does here in just a second. We've deliberately aimed this camera down just a little bit so that we can see the trees there and kind of get an idea of the wind and the gusts and that kind of thing there in the parking lot at the Brentwood Hills Church along Franklin Road. We kind of get an idea for how strong the wind is blowing. So we've kind of brought the camera down just a little bit to be able to see that, and we'll be able to see that wind come through there here in just a second. So over on radar, getting an idea. I'm getting kind of watching to see how it advances. It's almost to Franklin Road. It's getting pretty close, and you can kind of see there, you see the hills starting to get hazy. All right, when the hills get hazy there, that means the rain's coming. It's coming over the hills there and crossing Franklin Road, and we'll see that here in just a second. Cross Franklin Road and get to the camera location. But when the hills get hazy there, that means the rain's coming, and that's happened just in the past couple of seconds. So strong winds in southern Davidson County all the way up into downtown as 2 severe thunderstorm warnings continue until 7:30. About another 10 minutes at least for these initial warnings. Then we'll see how they evolve, whether they continue, whether they expire. We don't think so. We think maybe these will get extended, but we're going to watch and see. But strong winds now approaching Franklin Road there in Oak Hill. So got a little bit of lightning there. It's not nearly the lightning producer that the storm up in northern Davidson County is. And there was a lot of lightning up there just a little bit ago. So if you're just joining us, if you're waking up this morning and you are kind of getting your bearings this morning, kind of waking up to sounds of hail on your roof, maybe some strong winds that came in the west side of both counties. Maybe you're woken up by the lightning and thunder this morning, especially up in the northern part of Davidson County. Here's what we have. So we're looking at, I'm looking at radar. You're looking at the camera there in Oak Hill. I kind of want you to have an idea. Those of you east of this, I want you to kind of have an idea of what to expect. And it looks like the winds, I would estimate they're blowing 20, 30 miles an hour there. I haven't seen anything that just, bends the trees over too much there, but probably 20, 30. And it may get stronger here in just a little bit as that line comes through. But definitely some heavy rain has moved in the past couple of minutes. So I'm going to take y'all over to radar just for a little bit. And it looks like the storm has now pretty much overtaken Davidson County on down south of the around the 440 loop. That could be where we see some hail. Is right around the 440 loop there, moving toward Trevecca, Shelby Park, Donaldson, B&A. Could be a little bit of hail in there around Berry Hill. And then down to the south, Brentwood, Nolensville, you guys getting a little bit of heavy rain there as well. And then down to the south, of course, you got more storms back toward the Natchez Straits Bridge. You folks out there in Fernvale gotten a lot of storms today already. And then down to the south, things aren't quite down to Bethesda and South Franklin, Spring Hill, Triune, Nolensville yet. Not quite there yet. So your storms are still back here to the west. So severe thunderstorm warning continues. We technically have 2 of them. However, the first one was for a storm that's now moved over into Lebanon. But both of these expire at 7:30. David tells me that you guys are saying that I need a coffee mug warmer. That would be awesome. A coffee mug warmer would be awesome. I'm telling you, I got this coffee right before we came on here, and it looks like, I don't know, what have we been on here? An hour and 29 minutes now. And this coffee's just shot, y'all. It's not even worth drinking. I'll try, but I'm afraid I'll spit it out into the microphone. So I'm just going to set that off to the side and just act like I'm awake. All right, so strongest part of the storm here looks to be from around the 2440 junction there in eastern Davidson County. Could be some hail with that around Trevecca, between Trevecca and Bna, where 24 and 40 come together, kind of that awkward interchange there between 440 and 24 and 40. Could be some hail there, and then down around between Antioch and Brentwood. Well, there's Holt Road, Nolensville Road there, Concord Road and Nolensville Road, where they had that large hail a couple days ago. Around Concord and Nolensville, same area there. So really stretching from Nolensville Road up and down, there's some of your intersections. Nolensville, Old Hickory Boulevard up there. Moving into Cane Ridge, you've got Old Hickory Boulevard that runs out through a little bit more of a rural area in southeastern Davidson County there. You got Oak Highlands subdivision and Hidden Creek and a couple of the new greenway that runs down through there. So that's where some of the strongest part of that storm is headed right now. Checking in with Oak Hill. This particular location didn't get some of the strongest winds. Never saw the trees going crazy there, but definitely had some issues with the. Definitely had some heavy rain and some lightning with that as it came through. All right, so that's Oak Hill. Let's go back and check out Goodlettsville. I want to check on them. It looks like we may have some power outages up there in Goodlettsville, and sure enough, the man alive. Sorry about that. That's the Stormwatch Plus app. If you're ever looking for a new Wake Me Up app, there you go. But looks like the Goodlettsville camera is missing in action there, so it looks like they've had a power outage up there. Saw a couple of indications of that as well, probably from the lightning. It's really strong up there. All right, back to the velocities. Looks like could have some high velocities over here north of Nolensville, around Antioch, and then looks like some strong winds there around Leapers Fork, west of Franklin, even on over into Fairview. Still some elevated wind gusts there as these storms come through, but you can clearly see where the core of these storms are. And that's from just to the southeast of Brentwood over to the east. So new severe thunderstorm warning for Davidson and Williamson. I'm going to kind of catch up here on what they're saying here. This was at 7. This is until 8 o'clock. And this is we're getting kind of cluttered here. Let me just turn the radar off for a second. All right. And I apologize for getting cluttered here on the polygons. There's just a lot of individual cells that warrant a warning. And so this is a new severe thunderstorm warning until 8 o'clock. And this one here for southeastern Davidson County and northeastern Williamson County. That's until 8 o'clock. Severe thunderstorm is located over Nolensville, or 10 miles northeast of Franklin, moving east at 45 miles per hour, 60 mile per hour wind gusts, and nickel-size hail are possible with that storm. And that's for this one right here. It's actually north of Nolensville, right between Nolensville and Antioch, over into Davidson County. So could be some really gusty winds with that. I'm going to look at my phone, see what Tbna is showing. I'm not getting data on my usual place there, but I'll tell you, right around the Tbna radar site right here. So here's Tbna. This is kind of in the backyards of the Burkett Place subdivision there. It's showing some pretty gusty winds. So this storm could be producing some pretty gusty winds as it comes in right around Tbna. So that's with the what this is out ahead of that bow. Okay, you remember that bow we were talking about a little bit ago? This is on the front edge of that. And here, let's look at that. So I'll draw it for you. I'll try to. All right, so here's that bow. All right, and so you can see why they issued this warning box. It's because this bow is pushing to the east. All right, so that's what we're looking at. Tbna radar site is right down in here, and it's showing some pretty gusty winds there. So that bow is pushing east, and so Long Hunter State Park, down into Smyrna and Rutherford County, Nolensville getting the gusty winds now, down to Triune, going to get some gusty winds. Not as heavy rain down there in Triune, but some gusty winds on the front end of that are a possibility, a good possibility. All right, let's turn the pen off there. There we go. Let's back out just a tad and get a big picture. All right, so it's 7:25. A couple of warnings are going to go away here before too long, and that's this big one here that covers most of both of our counties. And that was issued earlier. It expires at 7:30. If they let that one go, it expires at 7:30. So in 5 minutes, it'll go away. Also in 5 minutes, this storm, or this box that was issued quite a bit ago, back about 6:38, about 6:40 or so, it's still there. Hopefully it'll go away at 7:30. We'll see if it does. And that'll kind of clear things up just a tad for us. The main box we have in effect now is this one over on the east side that is in effect until 8 o'clock in the morning, so about 35 minutes or so, and that's this one right here. And that's for the front edge of this bow and this high precipitation here around Antioch pushing to the northeast. And that's going to be up in Wilson County here before too long. It's not going to hang around long, but that's where the bow is right now. All right, we got a camera over in Nolensville, and it is, the wind hasn't hit that location yet, but it's getting pretty close. All right, so you can kind of see the trees there in Nolensville. They're not moving a whole lot. We saw a couple of days ago, we saw a pretty dramatic image of the wind coming through this area. A lot of just little tree debris blowing past the camera. Is a really strong part of the storm a couple days ago. Came over this location and then dropped an EF1 tornado over there in Smyrna, just to the east. So we'll be watching that just to see if the trees start blowing here in just a second. All right, so here's what we have in place. We got a few severe thunderstorm warnings. We've got this one back to the west that covered kind of the storm as it came in, and about another 3 minutes on it. The main warning we're looking at now is this one here in effect till 8 o'clock. That's for strong gusty winds in eastern Davidson County and northeastern Williamson County. And kind of looking at velocities there. The Weather Service radar has a horrible read on this velocities. It's not the radar's fault. It's just the way Doppler radar works. And so can't see anything on velocities there. We're kind of flying blind on that radar as far as velocities. But we have other resources that show, like Tbna Radar showing that the velocities are there, and they are over to the east now of Tbna and running basically from Laverne up into the northern parts of Davidson County. I'm going to try something here. I'm going to see if I can pull this up a different way, where we're able to see. Yeah, this is going to work. Sure. All right, let's do this. This might be a little rough, but we're going to try it. All right, here's Tbna. So this is using a different resource here, but you see these bright reds? These bright reds here are in pinks. So that's indicating wind pretty close to the ground up in the 40 to 50 mile per hour range. So you folks around there in the northern parts of Nolensville probably got a really big gust of wind, and it's moving into Laverne right now. The blue line here is I-24. You can't see my cursor probably, but I-24 is that northwest southeast blue line there. So crossing I-24 right now, moving on over into Smyrna and Murfreesboro Road area in Rutherford County, and that's where the strongest wind is there. So this is a Tbna radar, and I'm going to see if I can even loop this. I don't even know if I can. I'm using a different resource than I normally do here. Yeah, you can see that. So there's the bow and the winds as they crossed over. They turned to red because winds were going away from the radar at that point. And you can see how the wind crossed the radar site there in the north part of Nolensville and moved to the east. All right, so that's Tbna. Let's go back over here and look at our warnings, and about another minute here, and we should start to clear some of these warnings. So things should clear up just a little bit here shortly. Still getting reports of nickel hail in Brentwood, Antioch, pea-size. That's over in Trousdale County. So still getting some indications of hail with this. Wow, there we go. A bunch of polygons just dropped off the screen. That's good. All right, so that simplifies things just a tad. So we've got this polygon still in effect till 8, and our hope is that as the storm moves east, and this is for small hail, but basically for 60-mile-per-hour winds, that front end of the strongest wind on that bow that we were talking about is just about out of both counties. So they may shore up this warning a little bit and take it out of our counties. We'll see if they do. But the strongest of the wind that we saw on Tbna radar is now on the front end of that line in that bow, and that's moving sort of out of our counties. So that's good. Maybe the strongest wind has moved on. But you got to sort of count on the fact that it may still be in both counties. So we got, the warning's in effect. We're gonna watch it. So this is moving to the east like that. All right. And so the county lines run just to the west of that. So hopefully the strongest wind has moved out. But nonetheless, severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect till 8 o'clock. That's about another 30 minutes. And my family's awake. Dogs barking. Everybody's up around here, so I guess it's daylight now. It is 7:30, I guess. And so let's back out again and kind of show you what's going on. Severe thunderstorm warning. The only warning right now for us is this one warning on the east side. So you guys back to the west of 65, no warnings in effect for y'all. And the warnings that are in effect are over on the east side. Northeastern Williamson County, that's north of 840. And then basically south of Old Hickory on the east side of Davidson County, and northeastern Williamson County is what we're looking at now. Let's go back over to Tbna. And it looks to me, still could be some gusty winds down there to the southwest with these storms coming in from the southwest. I know this is a little harder to see. I'm using a radar here I don't typically use. But here's Fairview just for perspective. And again, you can't see my cursor, but so the blue line up there on the top, that's I-40. The blue line to the right of that, you see Franklin, and that blue line is I-65. So what we're looking at here is southwestern Williamson County from Tbna radar, and that is that's some pretty impressive wind. Let me kind of ping some of this and see what we're looking at. Looking at about 40, 50 mile per hour winds. Could be up in that storm. So non-severe. It's not severe right now. Doesn't have a warning with it. This is down just southwest of 840. Looking at about 50. Going on down into like Santa Fe and New Hope. Down there Murray County, about 53. So radar not pinging severe winds down there with that cell coming in western Williamson County right now. So that's good news. All right, so back to radar again. Kind of, this is what we were looking at, a much clearer picture. But there's Greenbrier, Boston, Craigfield. These are the areas I was looking at on the velocities with Tbna, and nothing looks too impressive right now. Most of the wind is out ahead on the front end of this precipitation is where the strongest wind is. Looking at David over on Twitter, he says now only one severe thunderstorm warning in effect, but lightning will remain for most of the morning. A flash flood watch remains in effect, and he posted the new blog there. So if you'd like to jump over and look at the blog, he's posted the link to the new blog over there over on Twitter. And again, you don't have to have a Twitter account to read our Twitter feed. Some questions about that. You can check it on our website. The Twitter feed should be there on our website as well, NashvilleSevereWeather.com. And you can see the Twitter feed there. You can also just go to Twitter.com, pull up our account, and see it. But the blog is up to date there. And checking some other replies here while we have just a little bit of time. Again, severe thunderstorm warning in effect till 8 o'clock, another 30 minutes. Our hope is that perhaps that warning will get trimmed. It looks like the strongest wind is on the front end of this precipitation that's now into Rutherford and Wilson counties. But nonetheless, severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for the possibility of gusty winds there for northeastern northeastern Williamson, southeastern and eastern Davidson. Checking up on some other things here to see your reports. And just a lot of hail pictures. That's good. Thanks for, that's not good we got hail, but it's good that you're getting those reports into us. Hashtag T-Spotter in a tweet will do it, and that'll get it right to the right place. It keeps it all in one spot for us so we can kind of see what's going on, and we can get those reports over to the Weather Service. Let's see here. Small hail in Donaldson, getting a report of that. Let's go over and look at that, because that's, we don't want to let the folks over there on the eastern side of Davidson County slip by. Let's go over to the hail view here and see what could be showing up. It's probably too close to the radar, actually, to get a good hail view. And we'll switch away from that. Let's go over here. There we go. All right, so could be some hail over there in Donaldson, and probably pretty small, according to radar, but we're getting pretty close to the radar site. It's a little hard for the radar to get a good idea of hail when it's having to look just right close to the storm. So heavy rain for sure over there in Hermitage and Peeler Park, Lakewood, Old Hickory, Madison, Amqui, all the way down to Nashville Shores. Percy Priest Lake just getting a lot of rain. B&A, and all the way down into East Brentwood now, another little cell coming through there, but doesn't seem to be packing the punch. Maybe some small hail with it there around the WSM Tower and up toward subdivisions there just east of Wilson Pike, Brent Mead, Annandale, Lansdowne, Edmondson Elementary again could be possible there. New flood advisory coming out now. That's going to be for, I believe that's for Williamson. Let me check up on that. Yeah, new flood advisory for Williamson and Davidson. And so this is going to be for the possibility of some flooding. Heavy rain just came through here. So it actually looks like that's going to clip northwestern Williamson. So flood advisory for western Cheatham, Dixon, northern Hickman, northern Perry, northwestern Williamson County. So pretty much the area over here in Fairview, flood advisory for you guys over there. And that's brand new, hot off the press. So, okay, hopefully new update here coming to the warning here in just to the radar here in just a second. And let's go over here and look at there we go. Y'all, my family can only stay quiet so long when we're on YouTube Live here, so I think everybody's awake. The dog's barking. Everybody's up just down the hall. So, we've been on here now for, an hour and 48 minutes here. So they're just like, we're forgetting being quiet. We're just going to live our morning. They're down the hall being loud. That's cool. Good to hear them up this morning. So strongest part of the storm really looks, the heaviest rain looks to be down here in southwest Franklin, moving to the northeast. And that is, it looks pretty heavy. It's non-severe right now, so that's good. But it's heavy rain, and that's, we just really don't need that. We had some heavy rain a couple of days ago. Came down real fast, had an inch. We had a little bit over an inch here at our house. And we just don't need that water. I mowed the grass yesterday evening, and it was soupy. The ground was still very soupy, so we don't need all this rain that's coming in here. It was kind of a mess mowing grass yesterday. So the ground is pretty waterlogged, and so the rain is not really a good deal. So if you live around creeks, streams, you got Mill Creek over here in eastern Williamson. You haven't gotten the heavy rain yet there, but you focus along Mill Creek. Y'all know how it kind of gets going there around Nolensville, and it's possible we could see that today. So just keep that in the back of your mind. If you're driving around today, just be really especially cautious around the creeks and streams. And if you live in a flood-prone area, those creeks will come up in your backyard or front yard or whatever. And this could kind of be one of those days. So just be aware of that as this comes through today. This is not the last storm we'll get today. This is probably the beginning of a few that come through here today, and especially later on tonight. So just kind of be aware of that as we go through time. So severe thunderstorm warning continues until 8 a.m., and that's going to be for this storm. It was actually initially issued for the front edge of the storms that, as it came through, this was a pretty high velocity section of wind, and that's now over into Wilson County and into Rutherford County. So we're going to see if they update the warning, the severe thunderstorm warning here, and either remove Davidson and Williamson, or if they keep it going. But we'll see what kind of updates come out from the Weather Service on to that end. Kind of looking at your replies over here. Let's see. Looking down here through some replies. While y'all look at radar there, you're looking at the polygon for the severe thunderstorm warning. There's your updated radar picture. So heaviest rain clearly down in Williamson County. That's where but it's non-severe. All right, here's your view down in Williamson County. Heavy rain down there, but not seeing much of an indication of hail, it doesn't look like. So that's a good thing. I'm kind of looking at a different view here. Could be just a little bit of hail. You see these blue areas here. That could be a little bit of hail there. Looks like a report of hail from Fairview showed up a little bit earlier. That was at around 7:30, so that was a little bit ago. Not sure if that may have been, that may have been with the earlier round of storms, but it could be just little pockets of small hail around there in Williamson County. Doesn't look like anything especially concerning, but you could see some pockets of some small hail there. Our main concern over here is in eastern Davidson County, northeastern Williamson, and so that's kind of where we're inside this yellow polygon, especially up here, Percy Priest Lake, Hermitage, areas like that. Not seeing much in the way of high velocities. Let's go over here to Tbna. I'm going to switch over to, again, I'm kind of using a different computer here over on this one, and let's go up here and look at eastern Davidson County, and Tbna's got a bad read on that, so could be some high velocities up there, but doesn't look like it. But Tbna's not going to get a good read on the winds up there in eastern Davidson County with this particular storm. But it doesn't look like anything's rotating. We're not seeing any rotation there. That would show up. And really looking down the line, not seeing anything concerning as far as rotation. This is a straight line wind and hail thing. So it looks like a significant weather advisory for us. That's going to be let's back out and take a look at it. Significant weather advisory for southern Smith, southeastern Davidson, north central Marshall, northern Rutherford, northern Murray, Williamson, Wilson, and east central Hickman counties. That's a big significant weather advisory. There it is. So you can let me pull it over for you. There you go. So you gotta see that polygon. So that's for this area here inside the white polygon. Significant weather advisory. So winds to let's see, half-inch hail possible with the storms. So yeah, some small hail possible with these storms we were just looking at down in Williamson County, all the way up into southeastern Davidson. All righty. Well, I'll tell you what, let's back out just a little bit. Let's look and see where, in fact, actually, that's 30. This radar image is kind of behind. Let's go over here, and we're going to look at more recent radar image. So this has the This has the storms, the front edge of the storms from Lebanon down to Murfreesboro, and then heavier rain going into Franklin there, and down to the southwest, Greenbrier, Boston, Keystone, Kingfield. Heavy rain down there in Williamson County. So severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect till 8 a.m. However, the strongest part of that storm has clearly moved over into Wilson County and down into Rutherford County. We're left with some rain there in eastern Davidson and pretty strong rain there in northeastern Williamson. And so that's, could be putting down some small hail, but really the hail threat seems to be back here in the southwestern half of Williamson County where some heavy rain is. And it could be a little bit of small hail in there. I'm going to mute for just a second. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back in just a second. All right. Severe thunderstorm warning continues till 8. We're just kind of here talking about it. We're not seeing anything especially concerning. We're seeing some, that radar is a little out of date. We're going to go stick over here with this one where we are. So this is, let's take a look at some velocities. That's interesting. There we go. Not seeing anything especially concerning, especially with these little cells coming in down to the down to the southwest of Franklin. Not seeing anything concerning on velocities. And man, we're getting some interesting stuff on our radars today. There we go. All right, so this should expire at 8. About another 10, 12 minutes on it, and so that's good. We're going to hang with it and just kind of see how it goes. Let us know your reports. Let us know what you're seeing. We're getting a lot of reports of crazy lightning out there, especially earlier up in the Goodlettsville area. In fact, there could be some power outages up there. I'm going to check that out because we lost a couple of cameras up there. It looks like about 16,000, a little over 16,000 NES customers out. And that's over at nespower.com, and looks like I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and this would explain why we lost our Goodlettsville camera. It looks like about 3,200 customers affected up there in that's at least that's up there in Goodlettsville. So it looks like power out for a good part of Goodlettsville up there, according to the NES map. It's over there at nespower.com. Looks like some pretty significant power outages, up to about 16,000, a little over 16,000 this morning. Meters affected over there at NES. So if you've lost power, hopefully your phone was charged from overnight, and you can kind of stay in touch with the weather today. But hopefully they'll get some things restored today and get some power back up and running. But this is severe thunderstorm warning in effect, remains in effect till 8 o'clock, and it may not, the worst of the weather may have moved over into Wilson County, down into Rutherford County. But the strongest weather seems to be back here, and it's not warned and it's not severe. But back here down to the southwest, there's some real heavy rain. Let's go over and check the hail view and see what it looks like. Looks like there could be some hail coming in around Keystone, around 840 and 65, right there around Indy High School, where Columbia Pike runs out of Franklin down to Spring Hill. Could be some small hail there, and could be a little bit more significant hail. In fact, could getting its act together here around north of Columbia. And I've actually just lost power at my place, so my power has gone out. And I'm running on backup power at my place. So hopefully you're still with me, and probably a lightning thing, but we'll see. Looks like the power's back now. So hopefully you're still with me here, and could have some more significant hail there on the north side of Murray County, and that could be getting its act together and might require a little bit more attention. But that's here on the north side of Murray County. And I'm going to unplug my printer here while it does about a 5-minute maintenance. Hang on just a second. All right, back with you here. So it could be some hail getting its act together down here in southwestern Williamson County. And so we'll keep an eye on that. I'm going to do another couple of things here. We're having to update. One of our vendors is doing a little bit of maintenance, and I've lost power again at my house. So I tell you, this has been one of those mornings. So running on backup power this morning as we speak. But here's your radar image out of northern Murray County and southern Williamson County. This is where the hail could kind of be getting its act together. And that's down here in the south of Boston, northern Murray County. Yeah, it could be some hail down there. So let's check that out. That's kind of what we're looking at there. So southwest of Spring Hill. Spring Hill could get another hailer here in just a second. And that could be moving northeast. So it looks like Spring Hill could get some more hail here in just a little bit. And getting an update here, kind of checking on how the warnings are going for Nashville. Let's check back in with reflectivity and get an idea for our on our warnings. Looks like a warning was canceled for Davidson and Williamson. Looks like they're continuing it for Rutherford and Wilson. So it looks like this warning here is being canceled, and that's good for Davidson and Williamson. All right, good deal. So it looks like we could have our warnings going away, and so that's a good deal for Davidson and Williamson. Sorry, I'm checking a couple of different places here and kind of seeing what. Kind of looking over here at Twitter. David's saying this morning's weather balloon is nerd speak for not gonna tornado this morning. That's great news. If we need some good news today, that's it. Temperature inversion, lack of surface base instability appears to be what's keeping the tornado potential down. That's great. That may change later today. Stay in touch on that. Small hail in Franklin near the Ag Center. That's what this cell here on highway, or that just went through the Williamson County Fairgrounds. There's your Ag Center there. There's Highway 96, Nestledown Farms, a lot of subdivisions, new subdivisions going in along the widening project out there on 96, or Murfreesboro Road, as some of you folks call it down there. So that could have some hail in it. That's moving up toward Burke Hollow. So here's Wilson Pike right here, and there's Burke Hollow right there. Could have some hail come up through there in just a little bit. Small hail happened there just a few moments ago, and that's moving generally up toward Nolensville. So that's what to keep in mind up there. And let me go back to what I was doing just a second ago. I'm trying to get some data updates here on some other radars. And there we go. So here's an update on those radar images there. Yeah. So here's where the heavier, or some of the hail could be. Yeah. Here we go. Williamson County Fairgrounds there. You see those blue dots? That could be some areas of some hail. And they come and go. They come and go. But it looks like down here around Spring Hill, storm getting its act together again. And they're around Spring Hill. So we could have some hail there for a little while. We'll see if they issue a warning on that for large hail. And that would be pushing east. So Spring Hill about to get another hailer, it looks like, here in just a few minutes. Hey, I'm going to mute for a second. I'm going to be gone for about 30 seconds to a minute, all right? So just hang with me. I'll be right back. You're going to look at the radar picture here. Currently no warnings in effect for Davidson or Williamson, but I'm going to be right back because I have a feeling we might have a warning here in just a minute, but we'll check back with that in just a second. Hang with me. I'll be right back. back with you now, and this is all warnings are. We don't have any more warnings in effect until my wife just came in asking if I wanted coffee. The answer is yes. Here's my cup of cold coffee. Right there. So yeah, thanks a lot. So she's getting me some more coffee this morning. So all warnings have expired or been canceled for Davidson or Williamson County. So that's a good thing. I'm hanging with it just for a second because we got a strong storm down here in Spring Hill and Thompson Station that's kind of gotten its act together and could be a hailer. I think it is a hailer. In fact, I'm pretty certain of that. But we're just kind of wondering if they might issue a severe thunderstorm warning on that one. So we're gonna check and see. We're gonna hang with it just for a second and see if they will. But it may not be considered severe at the moment. Let's go over to this radar here, and there's that storm down there in Spring Hill. Heavy storm up here approaching Nolensville, coming through Burke Hollow right now, and that's kind of on the western ends of Burke Hollow, Molly Hollow Road, Warren Hollow Road, and back to the west up toward Clovercroft, kind of in the hills back there southwest of Nolensville. Pretty decent storm there. Could have some hail with that, and quite a bit of lightning as well. And let's go over, tell you what, we're going to pull up something else here, and this is very near where that is. All right, so this is a camera in Nolensville looking southwest, and so that's very close to where that storm is right now that we were just talking about, southwest of Nolensville. So you can kind of see there on the hills to the left, you kind of see them getting a little bit hazy, and that's some of that heavy rain moving into the Nolensville area. All right, but it doesn't look like there's much wind with that. That's a good thing. Not much wind with it. That's good news. And here comes the coffee delivery. Thank y'all very much. Appreciate it. All right, so heavy rain moving into Nolensville, and a hot cup of coffee now after a couple hours. That's good. Glad to have that. So let's go back to radar here, and let's look back to the southwest. Strong storm down toward Thompson Station and Spring Hill. And looks like radar is still pinging about 1 inch hail, maybe a little bit larger there. There it is right there. You can kind of see on the hail view. So Spring Hill, you guys are about to get a hailer again. And we'd be very interested to know how big that is. Brief pea-sized hail in Spring Hill behind the GM plant. So maybe peas. Hail in northern Murray. That looks, I tell you, that's approaching quarters. So this, that picture we just got, man, big lightning strike there on the camera just southwest of Nolensville. So we'll stick with this just for a second so you guys can kind of see what's going on out there. I'll be watching radar, but this is the view southwest, looking southwest out of Nolensville. And this is for, it's not warned. There's no severe thunderstorm warning in effect. But I'm kind of hanging with it just for a second because that hail's getting kind of big down in Spring Hill. So we're getting reports there of, it looks like Nichols and, we're getting confirmation of the hail in Spring Hill and Beechcroft down there. And that looks like it's Nichols, and, I mean, that could be quarters down there in Beechcroft, Beechcroft, and down there in northern Murray County. So you guys in Spring Hill, right around Buckner Road, Cherry Grove, Longview Elementary, Heritage Elementary, all you folks in Thompson Station, Spring Hill, about to get a hailer come through here. And let us know what size it is, if you could. Use hashtag T-Spotter in a tweet. Let us know what size that is. All right, so you're looking at a camera there in Nolensville looking to the southwest. And let's go back over to radar. See the purples? The purples are where the hail is. It could be just east of that now. All right, so large hail now east of or crossing Columbia Pike and Highway 31 that runs through Thompson Station from Indy High School, the Keystone neighborhood, Indy High School, Thompson Station down to Spring Hill. So gusty winds possible with that. Mostly a hail threat it looks like, and that could be approaching quarters of pictures we're seeing. So it could be pretty large. And I'm just kind of reading the ticker tape of replies here to see what size these are. People in Spring Hill saying, just woke up to my windows getting hammered. All right, so looking at some dimes. So definitely hail falling here in Spring Hill. Thank y'all for letting us know the size. Keep that coming. We need to know what size that is. That's going to be crucial for the warning process. And it's I tell you, that hail's getting a little bit large down there in Spring Hill. So you guys let us know what size that hail is. So that'll be crucial to the warning process down there. All right, let's go over and look at the hail view here, and you kind of see where the largest hail is. That's there right around Spring Hill. Radar's thinking that could be a little over 1.5 inch size hail. It's probably likely not that large at the ground. We're seeing pictures. I've got one picture of a quarter, maybe some nickel dimes. There in Spring Hill. This is so great being able to see this real time and seeing the reports come in of exactly what's going on. Thank y'all for doing that. So send in a report, use hashtag TSpotter. We would love to know the size of the hail down in Spring Hill. So we're going to stay with us. There are no warnings in effect for Davidson or Williamson County, but we're getting reports of quarters down in Spring Hill though. Another one just came in. So so definitely, in fact, we're getting video now taken of that hail down there. So looks like we got quarters down in Spring Hill. So while there's not a warning in effect, there could be very, very soon. So we're going to stay with it. Storm's crossing Highway 31 now. It's going to be crossing Lewisburg Pike here in just a second as it crosses near the 840 and 65 interchange and just down to the south. All right, so that's where the hail is right now. Let's go back over to the hail view and check that out. That's exactly where. So Spring Hill there, Buckner Road, Cherry Grove, Bridgemore Village, some of these neighborhoods down there, Longview Elementary, Duplex Road, big road that runs through there. And that is where the looks like a new severe thunderstorm warning coming out. And I would guess it's for, Murray, Rutherford, and Williamson. That's still 8:45. All right, so new severe thunderstorm warning. This is the camera looking southwest toward that storm. And we'll see the polygon come up here in just a second. But new severe thunderstorm warning for Williamson County till 8:45, about another 45 minutes. And here's your polygon right there. And that is for the hailer coming out of Thompson Station in Spring Hill and moving to the northeast. So this polygon covers Franklin, Sullivan Farms, the Ag Center, Page High School. Basically, you folks there around Page High School could be getting hail here pretty soon. It's till 8:45. It's moving east at 45. So what I'm going to do is we're going to run down here and do a storm track on that. And this is what the pull that up for you. So this is what the Weather Service is giving as ETAs based on their warning polygon here. Looks like around Triune around 8:25, Page High School around 8:20, 8:17. Very, very soon crossing 65. So that's going to be coming really soon. And so it looks like maybe up around Nolensville, could be up around Nolensville there around 8:30 as well. So that's kind of what we're looking at. All right, so this is for a hailer. You kind of see the purple shades there. This is where the hail is, right over the neighborhoods in Spring Hill. And I can tell even just by looking at our Twitter feed that it's right over the neighborhoods because we're just getting a ticker tape of quarter size or maybe even a little larger than quarters down in Spring Hill right now. So lots of quarter size hail down there coming in right now. Quarter size, pea size, not quite as big as a quarter. So it's going to vary. But this hailer right here in the neighborhoods in Spring Hill and Thompson Station means business. All right. I'm going to switch over to something else here. This is a camera in Nolensville. New scan just came in on the radar, and it puts the hailer right over I-65 as it moves northeast. All right, so hailer right over I-65. It's going to cross Lewisburg Pike, You folks around Arno, Page High School, Triune, the 31A, 41A split, there where the Nolensville Road splits off and goes down to Eagleville or goes down to toward Lewisburg. That's a place right there that could get some hail. And on up to Trinity and on up into Burke Hollow and Nolensville could be part of this hailer too. So it looks like it's perked up in the past 10, 15 minutes or so and is riding east. So we'll see if it's just kind of collapsing and dumping hail that it had up in the storm and then it kind of relaxes for a while, or we'll see if it is ramping up and kind of continuing and will continue for a while. So we'll see what the trend is here of the next little bit. All right, so severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 8:45 this morning. That's about another 35, 40 minutes or so. And that's for this storm down I-65 in Spring Hill. If you're just joining us, you're getting a lot of hail over there in Spring Hill, even seeing some little leaf debris laying on the ground with the hailstones down in Spring Hill on your pictures. So once this hail kind of increases up to about quarter size, it starts pulling those new spring leaves off the trees and pulling them down to the ground. So pretty decent sized hail there around southern Williamson County, moving up to the Ag Center, Page High School, Arno, basically going east on 840 and some of the new neighborhoods out there along 840, and then some of your exits out there. So you folks probably getting some hail. So, hey, I'm going to mute just a second. I'll be right back. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect till 8:45. Also getting some reports of some flooding. Be real careful out on I-40. This would be near Fessler's Lane. It's a place that can flood sometimes. You get some water on it, and getting some reports that there's some water on I-40 up there in Davidson County. Excuse me. And they got some water up there. So that is entirely possible with these storms as they come through today. This is there's a lot of water coming down. There's a camera in Nolensville looking down to the southwest, and it's kind of looking right at this storm. And if it were dark, you'd see a lot more lightning, but there is a lot of lightning out there with this thing, and there's a lot of hail with it. So we're continuing to get all of the hail reports and pictures from Spring Hill, from Main Street and Duplex down through Thompson Station. And we're getting quarters, nickels, excuse me, maybe even bigger than quarters down there in Thompson Station and Spring Hill. So man, we've had the hailers this year just in the past couple of days. So we don't get just a lot of real large hail around here usually, but these things have been packing a punch the past few days. Hail just off of Buckner and North Port Royal, and those, I mean, some of those look better even a little bit than quarters. So it's definitely big in some places. All right, let's zoom out again. That gives you an idea of where it is. The heaviest hail now falling just around 840, maybe just east of I-65, and moving to the northeast. And let's do a track on that. I'm kind of waiting for the updated radar scan to come in, but if this thing's moving east at 45, let's just kind of do this. We're going to do east at 45. Let's do it for an hour or so. We're going to kind of draw it like this and move it to the northeast at about 45. So it looks like as far as Williamson County goes, Nestledon Farms, Page High School, Cross Keys, Arno, Burke Hollow, Triune, around 820. McCandless Road there around 820 as well. The 31A, 41A split about 820. And moving on into Rutherford County and Murfreesboro about 840. So that kind of gives you an idea of where it's moving to. And hey, continue sending in the reports. I mean, we're trying to keep up with them. We see all of them. And use hashtag TSpotter. Send us some pictures of the hail after it's moved through. Whenever you feel it's safe to send us a picture or let us know where the hail is, let us know, and what size it is. Compare it to the size of a coin, and that would be really helpful. Really helpful. All right, so here's zooming in a little bit. Got two parts of this cell. One of them's over here to the east, right around Nolensville Road, around the 31A, 41A split, all the way up to Triune, and the 840 exit there. That's where one part of the cell is. It's going to be moving out, but that's right over there near, let's see, that road there is Patterson Road. So right over Patterson Road in eastern Williamson County, and then maybe all the way up as far as Spantown Road. Then you go on over into Rutherford County, and you got Highway 96 there. So that's where one part of this cell is. The other part of the cell is over here around 840 and just to the south. That road there is going to be Harpeth-Paytonsville Road, and just south of that's going to be Bethesda-Arno Road. You get out in this area of Williamson County where the roads are kind of, the names are kind of combined with different areas down there. So you got like Harpeth-Paytonsville, Bethesda-Arno, and those kinds of roads out there. That's where the hail looks to be right now. Down in southeastern Williamson County, really west of 65, you kind of have the all clear as far as the hail goes right now. That has now moved east of 65, but still some more storms coming, but not the hailer that we see right at the moment. So let's go over and look at the hail view here on this radar, and it looks like it kind of delineates where the highest probabilities of hail would be. And right here near Triune, and then down here around Cross Keys and Bethesda is another place. So I'm going to see if this works. This is the probability of severe hail. This is a product the radar produces. About a 40% chance, 50% chance of seeing severe hail over near Triune. About a 70% chance of seeing severe hail, 65-70% chance of seeing severe hail around Cross Keys and Bethesda up to Arno. So, all right, this so this is your main hailer right over here east of Spring Hill that just came through, and went right through the neighborhoods there in Spring Hill and Thompson Station. So decent sized hail in Thompson Station. Let's look over at some of these other reports that I'm looking at here. This is, still seeing, I mean, easily quarters there. Not quite golf ball size, but Nichols quarters. Campbell Station Parkway seeing quarters a little bit ago. I mean, it's pretty widespread around there in Spring Hill, those larger hailstones. All right, let's take a look at one of our other radars here. Let's kind of get an idea of where the hail, using this view here. Yeah, it could be anywhere you see like not purple. So purple would be basically all rain. But if you see areas of yellow and greens and stuff like that mixed in, there could be a little bit of hail mixed in right in there. So especially down here in Bethesda, especially down here in these purple cores in Bethesda. So Bethesda, Cross Keys, you got, what's that, Cross Keys Road there. You got Bethesda, Arno. And again, this is out in this this area of Williamson County where all the road names seem to have two names. So you got like Arno, Bethesda. You do have Hatcher Lane there, but you've also got like Arno, Alisona. You've got Arno, College Grove. And then just Arno that runs north to south there. But if you're kind of familiar with that area, you know where all the road signs are big, long road signs because they've got two combined names for the road names. That's out where this is. That's out where the heaviest of the hail is. So radar still pinging about 1 inch hail quarters, and seeing reports here of Nichols. That was over there in Rutherford County. Still seeing quarters. That was compared to a guitar pick for size. That's good to see. It was actually kind of shaped like a guitar pick, so that's pretty cool. Not when it hits your house or your car, though. Man, these hailstones really are pretty decent size. Every bit of quarters. Near Chapman's Retreat Elementary. All right, let's go back over here where we can see a little bit better where this is going. So let's run this out again just for a few more minutes. Let's run this out probably another 20 minutes or so. And let's take this to the northeast at about 45. All right, Arrington, Alasona. There's your new radar image there. We're going to need to do a new storm track. So let's do that. I think it's moving to northeast about 45. So that's Alasona 816, 31A, 41A split about 820, and Triune about 820. So those are the folks out there. We're in a little bit more rural area of Williamson County, just a little bit than down in Spring Hill. So not as many points of reference there, but there's, as we zoom in, you kind of see 31A, 41A split there. That's where Knowlesville Road splits off south of Triune, goes to Eagleville and Lewisburg. And then you've got Arno and Bethesda. So that's where the heaviest hail is now. Let's go look at that, actually. All right, yeah, so a little bit updated. Largest hail is kind of spreading out a little bit. It's not as much of a bullseye as it was a little bit ago, but still could be seeing some 1-inch hail, especially there around Bethesda. And maybe some slightly smaller, maybe nickels and dimes up there in Arno. But the point is, nonetheless, that could see some hail. It depends on exactly where you are as far as what size you'll see. Somebody asked if we're expecting hail in Nashville. Good question. Not right now. Let's back out just a little bit and show you that. That's a great question. Thanks for kind of helping me think a little bit further north as well. We've been focused on that hailer down there in Spring Hill. Up here to the north, we've got rain still falling in Nashville. This hailer, though, is not headed toward Nashville. It's headed actually into Rutherford County here in the next 15 minutes or so. But up in Nashville, just some heavy rain, some moderate rain, not even terribly heavy rain. But we do need to watch for some flooding up in Nashville. We've already seen that there's some flooding on some the interstates up there around I-40, maybe some water on the road up there near Fessler's Lane. And so I'm reading something else here real quick, catching up on something, see if there's any other flooding reports, but there could be some flooding up here in Davidson County, okay? And that's something we were expecting today with some of these heavier downpours. So David's over there tweeting some video of the hail, talking about the sound of that hail that came down over there in Spring Hill. It's pretty loud, I'm sure. That's over there. Somebody sent in a video there. David's tweeting over on Twitter. Will is taking your reports, and as always, doing a great job with that. I'm seeing him. I'm sitting here watching him up on another screen put in the reports and sending those to the Weather Service. And, I mean, the system is working so well this morning. Where you're sending in your reports, I'm watching Will here send those to the Weather Service, and I mean this is exactly what this is here for, and it helps them understand what's happening at the ground level. So everything's clicking along great right now as far as what's going on and how you guys are sending in your reports. So checking out this camera again over in Nolensville, still quite a bit of lightning. We're looking kind of down to the south. Right over that hill on the left side, there's a hill back over there on the left, and beyond that is where the storm is down toward Triune. That's looking down kind of that way, and where the hailer is now. So quite a bit of lightning with that, quite a bit of electrical energy with that up in the storm down there toward Triune, where all of that hail is. So you see the flashes there. That's that lightning down there to the south. And even some lightning up there in the cloud. That was pretty cool. Some forked lightning up in the cloud. So definitely a lot of electrical energy with this, and we've seen that in multiple places. Today, a lot of lightning up in Goodlettsville. Quite a few power outages up there. We lost our camera up there due to a power outage, and it looks like there's still quite a few of power outages up there. And NES is reporting 16,000, between 16,000 and 17,000 customers or meters. You can kind of picture those as how many meters are without power, and it's up between 16,000 and 17,000, mostly north of I-40, but along and north of 40, all the way up into Goodlettsville. A big outage up there in Goodlettsville. So that's what took down our camera up there a little bit ago, and I believe still is. So anyway, you're looking at radar here, and this is where we're looking at the the hailer. So the hailer now is from Arno Road down to the south. Here's Bethesda down there. There's Flat Creek Road, Comstock Road down there, intersection down there in far south part of Williamson County, over to College Grove, and all the way up to Triune. This is where the hail could fall, is right in here. And let's look at the hail sizes and see if that's changed at all. It's come down a little bit. Now, not quite as impressive as it was as far as the hail sizes, but still could get some dimes and nickels out of this as it comes through here. I'm looking back up at the reports, just kind of get an idea. Some pea-sized hail coming through Bethesda, and that makes perfect sense with what we're seeing here. So if that's the largest that's falling in Bethesda, that's good, and it kind of confirms what the radar is showing. It looks like we could have the hail sizes coming down just a little bit, but there's a new radar scan there. You notice the purples are kind of scattering. The storm's kind of exhaling a little bit, and the purples are decreasing, and a lot of that ice and a lot of that ice and a lot of that energy up in the storm has maybe come down, and you don't see the brighter colors here. So you got a lot of reds and a lot of rain, and this is going to get the creeks going down here. But the purples are kind of decreasing, and that's where you get your heavy hail rates and your large hail. So let's go back over to this radar, and you can kind of see, once again, a lot of lightning. And I don't know if you can see this on your phones or your computers or whatever you're watching on, but all of these dots are cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. So College Grove all the way up to Page High School along 840 just getting pummeled by cloud-to-ground strikes over into Arno, and it's just a lot of lightning. So very electrically active storm. Still got that hail, and even in this view, it looks like our hail sizes are coming down, which is good. That's great. So we're thinking probably what happened is it bottled up some hail and has dropped that hail over Spring Hill, and perhaps it kind of spent more than it was taken in or producing, and maybe those sizes are coming down. Maybe the hail rates have come down some around College Grove. Not to say it's not going to hail where you are, but it looks like the hail reports now, that was close. Looks like some hail reports now in Arno, pennies to quarters. So National Weather Service says there will likely be several pockets of small hail with all of the storms today. They're looking especially at a storm over in Jackson County. It's been producing 1-inch hail. It was one that we saw earlier today over in Davidson County, but it's starting to weaken. The storm in Williamson heading into Rutherford has a much smaller hail core. All right, so smaller hail core in the storm here going into Rutherford County that's in Williamson now. But as you've seen, it's still producing 1-inch hail. Looks like it's maintaining its strength, and right now the plan is to continue issuing warnings on these as long as they still produce quarter-size hail. Not much of a wind concern, the Weather Service says. So the wind concern is lower, and we're kind of in an area here the Weather Service radar isn't going to see that really well if there were a wind concern. If there was a wind concern there, the Weather Service radar not at a great angle, but that's all right. We have other ways to tell, so we have other radars that can see that a little bit better. So College Grove, a lot of lightning, lots of lightning with this. As it comes through, I'll show you that. Back over here to the other radar, you can see all the dots, especially the white dots. These are the ones the most recent. And a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning from 31A, 41A split all the way up to Triune, where the Tractor Supply and the new red light is there in the gas station in Triune, just north of 840. So that's kind of the northern extent of the most frequent lightning and the heaviest weather. Let's put this in motion for you. Let's kind of go back through a long loop, and you can just kind of get an idea for how these are moving. And mostly east and northeast. All right, so what it looks like here, you kind of see the front edge that kind of bowed out, created those strong winds. You see that front edge of the precipitation, how it was kind of bowed out? That probably gave us some lift and some forcing there that, kind of using some technical terms, some forcing that kind of threw these storms up higher than they normally would be just in regular, just kind of out in the open today. Probably that wind kind of served as a gust front and as a boundary that sort of helped push these storms up higher in the atmosphere and produce that hail. Now that that forcing is kind of outrun the storms off to the east, and that forcing is that wind is out, east of us, it's probably allowing these storms to kind of come back down to reality here and not be quite as strong. So still producing, still could be some, hail sizes continue to come down, but still some hail being produced down there, it looks like, in just south of College Grove. So that's going to be out there around Arno-Allisona Road. Allisona's right here. This is where kind of the railroad runs down along, that's 31A that runs down to Chapel Hill. And there's Allisona right there. Excuse me. So that's where, if there's hail falling, that's probably where it is. But the hail sizes have definitely come down a little bit with that. So that's good news. So severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 8:45. So about another 15 minutes or so. And after that, I don't see a lot behind this in the next hour or so that looks threatening, really. Got some rain up in Davidson County. And looking at a new warning that's come out now, that's going to be over well east of us. Yeah, that's going to be a warning well east of us over there. So looking up to the north, you got rain in Davidson. You got some rain, maybe some thunder and lightning back in Fairview and Franklin back to the west. But I'm going to put this in motion again on this little bit wider view. And really not seeing a lot in the way of severe storms back to the west. Now, we're still expecting the possibility of severe weather later today. But as far as this line goes, it's possible that we might be nearing the end of this trouble that started this morning about 5:30, 6 o'clock. It looks like it may slowly be winding down. So could be our last warning for a few minutes. We'll have to see, but this is in effect until 8:45, and that's for some hail that definitely the sizes are coming down, but some hail still a possibility there around College Grove. So that's going to be down around Owen Hill Road. It's going to be Arno-Allisona Road. Could be a little bit of hail all the way up there to Cox Road. They're kind of between 840 and College Grove. There's Cox Road there. Could be some hail up there. But not seeing anything concerning as far as rotation winds, anything like that. Let's take a wider view over here with this radar here and back out just a tad. So this is the only warning in effect for Davidson or Williamson, and that is this one here in Williamson, and that's in effect until 8:45. A little bit clearer picture now back to the west. You can kind of see really not seeing too much in the way of threatening weather back to the west for a little while. I'm going to mute just a second. I'll be right back. You're taking a look at the wide view of the radar here. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect till 8:45. I'll be right back. David says over on Twitter that we talk storms all the time, so this is normal, that we've gone over the 2-hour mark. We're at about 2 hours, 40 minutes over here on YouTube Live, and glad you're still with us. Got quite a few of you actually still with us here, and glad you're here. So he says we might have some coffee updates. My coffee is still warm. Just took a good sip of that. It's nice to have this morning. He notes over on Twitter that the hail sizes continue to decrease down on the southeastern side of Williamson County. And so that's good that hail sizes continue to come down. Chatting with the Weather Service here, they say it looks like the updrafts in Williamson County have fallen off quite a bit, and it says that they are going to let the warning ride for about another 15 minutes in case anything else perks up. It looks like the large hail threat at this moment continues to be low, but they're going to let the warning ride for just a little while. I'll tell you what these storms have been doing. What the storms have done is they perk up back here to the west of us. And I'll show you, this is the hail view here, and you can see exactly that. Let me show you that. I wasn't showing you the right spot. Here's that view. This is the hail view. And you can kind of see how you have the blues, and then you'll get a storm that perks up into the oranges and into the yellows, and then it'll decrease again. So that's kind of what we've seen happen multiple times today. And so that's why they're letting this warning ride for a little while longer. Yeah, so they're going to wait a little bit, and they may remove Williamson from the warning here in just a little bit. But yeah, hail sizes continue to come down. A few wind gusts down in the Nolensville area, but nothing crazy at this point. It looks to be mostly a hail threat, and that continues to come down. What I was saying earlier, David said over on Twitter, we talk storms all the time, so this is normal. So basically, if we just all got on a phone call, if David and Will and I got on a phone call here right now, we'd be saying the same thing. We'd be talking the same way that I'm talking to you guys here on YouTube Live. So really, it's just the same thing we always do. We guys, we sit around and talk shop here about these storms, and so I'm communicating to you kind of what we would sit around and talk about and what we would notice about these storms. So, yeah, I'm just sitting here looking at the hail velocities, different products here. And really not seeing anything that's much impressive. So that's good. Will says I should loop them in on speakerphone. That would be great. I'll tell you what we need to do. What we need to do is get David and Will, and we need to get them on a Zoom and just pipe everybody in on a Zoom and do a YouTube Live like that, and we all just sit around and talk about it. So hope y'all were able to join us a couple of days ago. A few days ago, we did an update with Chrissy Hurley, the warning coordination meteorologist from the National Weather Service, and we did that by Zoom, and that was a YouTube Live. We had a lot of fun with that, and it was good to talk to Chrissy as we prepared for the storms a couple of days ago, and that was a lot of fun. We had a good time with that, and we had to do that again. That was cool. But yeah, Will's exactly right. We're here texting, and Will's right. We need to just get them all on speakerphone and talk to everybody. All right. Well, we're just sitting here looking at radar, and I'm actually able to drink coffee now. This really doesn't look severe. They're going to let this warning ride just for a few minutes but hail sizes have come down. They're going to let the warning ride because this thing kind of perks up and then goes back down. So, on the chance that it perks up and starts producing big hail again over in eastern Williamson County, they want to have that warning in place. So that's a great call. That's a good call. So they're going to let this warning ride for a while, but clearly we can see that the threat would be right around College Grove, like basically Nolensville Road over to the east. Now, let me show you that on a different radar here, a little bit easier to see. In this warning polygon, the threat would be over here near Patterson, not McCandless. That's what road is that down there? That's Patterson. Yeah, there's Patterson, and here's Taliaferro Road. So these are a couple of roads that run over to the Rutherford County line from Nolensville Road. And that's clearly where the highest threat would be with this for right now. And so back to the west of this warning polygon around I-65, west of I-65, you're good out of this storm. You're clear. So, but they're just letting this ride for a little bit longer until this exits Williamson County. So that's technically in effect till 8:45, about another 10 minutes or so. Let's back out, look at a larger or wider view here. Strong storms very evident up here in northeastern Middle Tennessee. So up there around Livingston, up there northeast of Cookeville, storms still packing a punch up there. So that line kind of stretches down through Cookeville, Murfreesboro, down through far southeastern sliver of Williamson County, down through Murray County. Then it kind of breaks up a little bit and just kind of becomes rain and some thunder showers down there. But that's where the line of storms is. We've been dealing with these things for a while. And the first warning came out for us about 2 hours and 45 minutes ago. And we've just kind of had, these storms will pulse up, then they'll go back down and pulse up and come back down. We've had multiple warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings. Thankfully, no tornado warnings. We're just not in a conducive atmosphere for that right now. It's not a tornado warning. So that's good. Luckily, these have only been severe thunderstorm warnings, but they packed a punch with some large hail and some potentially damaging winds, but mostly a large hail. This has been mostly a hail morning. For sure. There's your latest radar view, taking the higher reflectivities over into Rutherford County. So any hail that would be there is going to be over there on the county line or just east. But the lightning is still a thing. And again, I don't know if you can see this on your screen, but all these white dots is just a very electrical storm. Maybe not quite as much as just a little bit ago, but it's still, still a lot. So it looks like there's a lot of lightning down here, basically from Triune, or maybe McCandless Road, Triune, down to the south. And that's where a lot of the lightning is now. Most of that's pushed over into Rutherford County. Really, south of 840 down to Eagleville is where the heaviest rain is, and it looks like they just dropped the warning. So the warning has expired early for Murray, Rutherford, and Williamson. So all of our warnings have expired now. They've all gone away. So now for the first time in about 2 hours, 45 minutes or so, we are warning-free and really threat-free. So we had a brief period there where we didn't have any warnings, but we stayed on because we kind of had a hunch about this one down there in Spring Hill. Ended up dropping very decent-sized hail. And so the warning was issued on that one based on your reports. It was great. Thanks for sending those reports in. And so we're gonna sort of get off of here. We're going to reset and turn YouTube live off for a while and kind of get an idea for what to expect later on today. And then we'll jump back on later today if any warnings are issued. This is not the last show of the day, all right? So, you saw some severe thunderstorms this morning, some hail, some strong gusty winds as they came through, but this isn't the only show in town today. We could be seeing severe weather later on today. David's got more on the blog with that, and we will definitely be updating Twitter throughout the day and be addressing the severe weather threat later on today. But watch out for flooding, watch out for strong gusty winds, hail, and maybe even a few tornadoes later on. We're going to kind of evaluate that throughout the day and see how that risk plays out for this afternoon, evening, tonight. But detailed timings on that will come a little bit later on. That's not for right now. That's going to be for a little bit later. So warning free. And we're going to jump off of YouTube Live. And you guys have a great morning. Be safe around the creek streams and send in any other reports that you have. If you didn't send in a report about hail sizes, but you would like to about something you saw, please do that. And we'll talk to you a little bit later. Have a good morning. Go get some coffee.